Hello, everyone. 8 a.m. here, Pacific time in Silicon Valley. Welcome. I'm Will Decker, the director of the Media and Advertising program, and you're joining us for day one of the Spring Summit 2020. What a year this has been. This event is Media and Advertising Batches 0 and 1 Expo. It's a celebration of a great group of startups and corporations who've come together. Over the past several months, we've had a couple different events, but this one is the culmination and the graduation of those batches. We're really excited to have you all with us and celebrate this great group and think about what's to come. So go ahead, J-Man, let's go to the next slide here. Keep it moving. We have a lot of people with us today that are old partners. Go back to that slide, sorry. We're old partners and some new. And so I think it's important for folks who are joining us to just know about a little bit about Plug and Play. We have a long history and legacy in Silicon Valley. Our beginnings start right there at 165 University Avenue next to Stanford's campus in Palo Alto, California, where companies like Google grew from the offices. And we were able to watch a lot of these companies as they grow, realize that the future was in technology and innovation that led us to do a lot of different activities across Plug and Play and all over the world to support startups. They're really at the center of what we do. Go ahead, next. Creating our vision, which is to help the world progress through innovation and connection. It's more important today than ever. That's why you're here. We've got an incredible lineup for this event today. Innovation, we really believe, is going to help us through a lot of these times and set us up for a future post-COVID. Now we have offices all over the world. So these dots you see on the screen, we have teams there, all virtual now, but they're working with their partners locally, startups all over the world. And what they're doing is they're setting themes and picking topics to work on innovation in order to accelerate those new ideas and technology into those industries. So if you're near one of these dots, get in touch with some Plug and Play folks. Next. This is it. This is our change makers. This is why we're here today. We feel like now more than ever, innovation and new ideas are needed for all of the industries that are impacted. And so the people who are working on making that change happen, on taking technology that can help with the most important issues of today to move things forward. That's why you're here. That's why we're here too, to help make this happen. It's a lot of hard work. It's not just ideas. There's a lot in the execution. So it's people from these different groups that represent the types of ecosystems and open innovation that Plug and Play helps support, and why the events like today are so important. Next. Today, Plug and Play does three main things. We've learned a lot throughout the years from different models that we've tried, but primarily when you think about an innovation platform, as a corporation or anyone who's trying to work with a Plug and Play ecosystem, venture capital is a huge part of that. Plug and Play is the most active early stage investor in Silicon Valley in the world, depending on the quarter. So we invested in over 200 companies last year alone. Incredible activity and support for that ecosystem. Corporations also work with Plug and Play to supercharge their own innovation activities, whether that's the urgent issues of today or setting up for things for tomorrow. They come to our ecosystem, our group of startups, and our knowledge and our partners. There's also accelerator programs, which are theme-based industries like today's media and advertisement. And you see here we have over 400 corporations that work with us today across these various industries and in many, many different ways. We thank them. We can't do this without them. Our startups need you for your expertise, your resources, everything you do today. So thank you very much. Next. Snapshot on venture capital activity. We had an incredible Plug and Play, an incredible year last year. Next slide, please. There we go. Here's some highlighting some of the portfolio successes and wins throughout the years. We have about 1% of the portfolio in the unicorn category. And last year was really, really phenomenal. A standout year for Plug and Play investments with companies like Honey that were acquired by PayPal for $4 billion. So we hope that we can all together create some more unicorns through these times of change and support the startups that need it the most. Next. We did an incredible event a few weeks ago, the top 20 in 2020 from our ventures team around the world, which included some insights into our early stage companies. One of those was a question to the startups: has the current environment slowed down your fundraising timeline? And you can see the responses here. For majority, it has. And for me, what that means is that the focus has been on using the resources you have available if you're a startup and prioritizing time to profitability. So you're relying less on outside fundraising environment, or you can plan for a little bit, making that money last a little bit longer. So a huge impact to the ecosystem. If you want to learn more about that study, go online to plugandplaytechcenter.com, COVID-19. There's a how startups are fundraising in this time of COVID-19. Find out more about the results there. Really interesting stuff. Next. For corporate innovation, next slide. The first way that a lot of companies work with Plug and Play is to come to us with a problem or need. And today those problems are very urgent. They're incredibly urgent and needed. It might be something that is happening right now that the board and the C-level needs to address immediately. It might be something that you're thinking, hey, this is a great opportunity. Maybe there's startups out there that need our help and resources. We're getting a lot of those conversations and asks right now. Or maybe it's something we want to do today to set us up for the future. And the Plug and Play team takes some time to connect you with the right startups in a session that we call a deal flow session. Go ahead, next. The other ways to engage through our accelerator programs. Next slide. And we run over 50 of them in most major cities across the world. So you do get a line of sight across what's happening in innovation in many different industries, all of which are impacted by COVID-19 today. Next slide. Because I wanted to show you a little bit how they worked. You get the partners, the corporations that are part of these programs to set the topics and themes. Plug and Play goes throughout our network and chooses up to 1,000 different startups sourced globally almost every year, and shortlists several hundred. And off of that list, we get a smaller list that we review together. It's a collaborative review process based on the most relevant technologies, whether they're a plug and play investment or not, whether they're early stage or late. It's just about relevance. And then we get to a pitch day, and finally a class size, or what we call a batch, of about 15 to 20 startups. And they go through and work with us for 3 months, and then it leads us to today, a graduation event, an expo, and then we take a month off and do it again. Very collaborative, very focused on relevancy and getting new solutions into the market, either of being a customer of the startups, co-developing, investing, acquiring, all sorts of innovation activity. Next slide. Here are those industry programs. The new one on the slide here is COVID-19. This is one where you can find out online. We've put all the activities for COVID-19 matters into one place on our website. If you're interested, if you need to get involved in that activity, please reach out to someone on the Plug and Play team and we'll be happy to connect you. You can see the other ones here. We have many of them having events today and this week in this multi-day Spring Summit event. Go ahead, you can keep going next. Thank you. So for media and advertising, I'd love to kick it over to my co-founder, head of partnerships, Murad. It's all yours.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm on mute. Thank you, everybody. I'm the co-founder of the media and advertising vertical here, and I lead our business development globally. I'm glad this virtual event has opened it up to many more industry leaders to join us. Some of you have heard from me over email or LinkedIn inviting you to be with us here today, and I would be happy to connect with you at some point later in the coming weeks. Next slide. Now, before we pass it to our first keynote speaker, Dan, I'll just take a couple more minutes and share a little bit about our media and advertising ecosystem and why we decided to create this platform. Our mission here today has been, and 8 months ago when we launched this platform, was to create the world's largest media and advertising innovation ecosystem to bring innovation, corporations, startups, and business partners all under one roof to drive change, solve challenges, and build the future as a community. And with that, I have to give a huge thank you to our founding partners, Amazon Moments, AMC Networks, for believing in our mission and making everything here today possible, with all the amazing corporates, attendees, startups, venture capitalists to come together under that single mission. Shortly after, we were joined with many awesome partners, including Intango Ventures from Israel, USPS, Dentsu Agis Network, a top advertising agency in the world, the Third Floor, Levity Live, and most recently, a huge thank you to Grupo Globo for joining us, one of the largest media entities in Brazil and LATAM. Next slide. Just a quick look on the focus areas. As you see on the screen, we will be updating as we run future batches. However, some of the interests of our partners in this current batch voted and selected were around digital advertising, MarTech, streaming media, OTT. We're seeing a huge momentum around 5G and evolution of 5G. So the focus areas that were voted by here and the startups we've selected here today are voted by our corporate partners in our ecosystem as we run future batches and run, we select the next coming companies. That is subject to change. So if you don't see companies necessarily that are directly relevant to you, that is okay. As you partner with Plug and Play and what we do, we do take your feedback into consideration, and we cater to those criteria as well. A little bit about our activities. I'm proud to announce we had 2 co-investments, one being with Arena, and Paolo will be presenting later today, which I'm excited about, and Zentap. Arena was a company that we invested in alongside of Grupo Globo, which is very exciting. We're seeing a lot of growth happening for both of these companies by participating in our different accelerator programs and deal flows. So very exciting to see that. And then we have had a great success with our portfolio company Honey, which we invested in early on and was also acquired by our former portfolio company PayPal for $4 billion recently. So I'm proud to announce that we had a successful exit there. On the right, you see a quick snapshot of our activities in this ecosystem. It's incredible to see a lot of introductions happening even between corporations and business development taking place between corporations to corporations, and the community that we created. You can also think of it as an exclusive network with the high-level executives that are, really engaging and exchanging ideas and engaging in different thoughts, and really working together to create possibly a difference not only in the startup community, but strategic relationships that could be created between corporations. We also want to hear from you on moonshot ideas. Maybe there are ideas that startups aren't currently working on, but there are potential to really approach those ideas and find new ways to implement them through our startup ecosystem. And then we have our client deal flow, which is heavily used around our agencies that are working with us, working with their clients, their challenges, and what they're seeing in the industry, and facilitating those deal flows. And some partners are working with us around investments, including companies like Arena, Zentap, looking at us as a lead investor in Silicon Valley and following our direction in what type of companies we invest in. And then piloting and integration is a huge component of what we do through the deal flows. And of course, R&D and general insight is also an area of interest to our partners and innovation leaders that are working with us. Next, just a quick note on our expansion in the coming months. Of course, due to COVID-19, some of these launches might be soft launch, but we were looking to open an office in New York, Sao Paulo, Los Angeles, and possibly in Tel Aviv. We will keep you informed on all these soft launches in the coming months and year. However, obviously with the current impact of COVID, there might be some virtual events happening in these locations as well. And this is a quick look of our batch 0 companies that we have included in Particle, Quid. A lot of these companies you'll hear from today, so I won't take your time. We're very excited that these companies and founders and executives are on the line with us today to present to all of you. Next. And here's a quick snapshot of batch 1. Again, you will hear from most of these companies today. There will be a poll after each startup presentation, which my colleague Tanya will mention to you a little bit later. Please do vote on these companies as you feel like you want to connect with them. We will share this information with each startup that you see here, and they will follow up accordingly if there's an, if there is interest and there is synergy. And finally, I would like to thank our amazing team, Will Decker, our director, Kristen Arbeit, who's done an incredible job putting this program together. and having all of us here today. Kevin from our ventures, Karis, our account manager, and Tanya Ma, who is our venture associate, who you will hear from today, introducing the companies and really sourcing some great companies for our corporations and everyone here today. With that, we can go to the next slide. I will pass it to Will to introduce our first keynote speaker.
Thank you so much, Murad. It's my pleasure because this company was the reason I'm here at Plug and Play today. Ground Truth was a batch company within one of our very first accelerator programs at Plug and Play. They do location-based marketing and advertising, incredibly innovative company. And so it's absolutely my pleasure to welcome, to kick it off in the keynote, Dan Silver. He's the VP of Marketing at Ground Truth. He's going to tell us a little bit about the shifting landscape of consumer behavior. Take it away, Dan.
Thank you, Will, and thanks to the whole Plug and Play team for hosting us today. I'm Dan Silver. I run marketing for Ground Truth. I've been at the company for close to 7 years, and I've spent the majority of my career in the technology space. So today, we're going to talk about the shifting landscape of consumer behavior as a result of the global pandemic. So first, Ground Truth, who are we? We're a global location-based technology company that leverages visitation data to drive business performance. And when we say performance, we're talking about visitation and sales conversions in-store and online. And we do this through a high-quality visitation data. That's our proprietary data. It's not just understanding the location of a device and the precise boundaries of a place, which is part of it. It's also understanding a myriad of variables such as store hours, dwell time, device speed, understanding whether it was an employee versus a patron, and the list goes on and on. And we see over 30 billion visits annually. So what I want to start with, and I've done this a few times now, and I think it's really interesting. I want to do a quick walkthrough of the key events that have occurred over the last 6 to 8 weeks. And this chart that I'm showing you here is available on our website and can be an incredibly powerful tool for you as we continue to navigate our way through this crisis. So what you see here are 12 major categories that we've broken out regionally by day and by week. And in a few days, we'll actually be updating this chart to include public places as well, which we think as states start to open up and people start to go out more and more, will be a key indicator on how business will thrive. And we use indexed foot traffic, so instead of raw visitation, to demonstrate the relative increase or decrease in visits to certain businesses. Both weekly and daily charts depict foot traffic indexed against average weekly and daily visits starting from December 30th of 2019. And we update this regularly to make sure it's always fresh. But keep in mind, this is just a slice of insights that we have. We can pull any data for your specific brand or store as well. Just reach out to us and we're happy to do that. So let's start walking through. When you go back in time, first of all, and this is starting way back, all the way in February 23rd, the first thing we see is the stock market plummets 1,000 points. And this is back when the virus was very, very new. But as we keep going, you can see that, now we see the first recorded U.S. fatality. Travel restrictions start to be put in place. Italy, Iran, South Korea. Then you start to see action taking place. So $8.3 billion emergency spending package is signed. Who can forget that Tom Hanks announces that he has come down with the virus. And I've put this in here, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I think what's interesting is it's only really been 6 to 8 weeks, but it feels longer. And so these kind of key memory indicators, I think, are very valuable just to think back and remember what was happening during this time. Shortly after that, the U.S. declared a national state of emergency. Then we see the CDC recommends a ban on large gatherings. The president recommended avoiding bars, restaurants, and any discretionary travel. The Dow dropped tremendously, 3,000 points. You start to see states announce stay-at-home orders. So California was first. Shortly after that, New York officially became the epicenter of the crisis. New Jersey announced stay-at-home orders, followed by Ohio, Louisiana, stay-at-home orders. 6 more states followed suit after that. And then you see the Senate passes the $2 trillion stimulus package. We had a number of days in a row of the Wall Street, of the markets rallying. But at the same time, with the positive news, unemployment starts to skyrocket. Shortly after that, the $2,000 stimulus package was signed. And then right after that, the CDC issued the 14-day travel advisory to New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. And now you're starting to see us get into, I don't want to say this normalized period, but now you're starting to see foot traffic start to bottom out. Florida issued a stay-at-home order shortly after that, finally, after all the news. And then you start to see some of the reopening happening. So California starts to see the first decrease in daily intensive care hospitalizations. The federal guideline for reopening that says the company, that should say the economy, is announced. And then Florida announces that beaches can be opened, and states begin to loosen restrictions. And that is kind of the timeline that we're working with. Now we're into a phase where there is a bit of a stay-at-home fatigue. We start to see people going out a little bit more. And I think as we go through the next few months, that'll be the interesting data to look at. But that's the timeline. So now I'm going to walk through some key timeframes and observations that we've found, as you go back. So what's the first phase? Well, we saw panic buying started to slow down. So stocking up, that was the first major behavioral change that we saw. And remember, 3/13 was when the U.S. announced a national state of emergency. In the 2 days after, there were major upticks to grocery, big box, and warehouse stores during that time. And foot traffic to warehouse and club stores particularly jumped 70% higher than average. So the panic buying essentially lasted about 10 days. And once we get into the third week of March is when panic buying seemed to have slowed. 38% of consumers, which was down 15% from the week prior, were stocking up on products that they wouldn't otherwise buy. And I think we can all relate there. I know for me, potato chips all of a sudden became an essential need, which it wasn't normally. And I think, again, these kind of weird nuances of consumer behavior start to emerge. So following a week of major spikes in store traffic, in order to stockpile essentials, visitation data showed that shoppers are now making less trips to the grocery, big box, and warehouse stores. But of course, while the trips are fewer and becoming more solo missions, purchases per trip are way up. And shoppers enter this restock mode to replenish goods as the country essentially braces for the stay-at-home extension. So let's move over to health. Pharmacies obviously have adjusted their day-to-day focus on convenience, including ramping up, often free delivery, and leveraging drive-through windows to include other essential goods, not just prescription pickups. And with this increased focus on health, and the increased focus on the virus, it's pretty obvious that consumers are now spending more time thinking about their individual personal care and how they can remain healthy during this time. And of course, mental health follows suit. And I think this may be the most interesting trend line to look at in our dashboard. And it's not a funny subject. It's not laughing matter. But we do see this increase in foot traffic to liquor stores that has begun to occur. Demand and consumption have increased. Some alcohol delivery apps have reported that total cost per order have gone up by 20%. For local liquor stores and wine shops, the advertising delivery options has proven to be invaluable, but really highlights the stress and the pain that people are feeling during this time. So let's shift gears quickly to some major behavioral trends. As of 4/9, 95% of Americans are under some sort of stay-at-home lockdown. So essentially, the whole country is at home. And clearly, this is impacting how consumers are shopping, with almost 90% of Americans saying that their behavior has fundamentally changed. So how has it changed? Well, online shopping is perhaps the biggest shift taking place. 32% of shoppers who normally shop exclusively in store have moved online. And if you really zero in, that number is probably low. I'm sure that number is much higher, but I think that's a real fundamental shift that people have made. The work from home audience, less time spent commuting, business slowing down a bit. Many employees are spending an increased amount of time watching traditional TV, and we all know what's happening with streaming. But for many people, that time spent is just rising to an extreme level, with over 3 hours or more a week. And I know for me, that's probably low as well for you too. Of course, screen time in general is skyrocketing. My personal time spent on my device is up by 2 hours a day, and I'm sure it was already too high. But mobile is definitely the go-to screen during this time. And it's gaining the largest change in monthly in-home usage with a 34% increase month over month. And that's higher than smart speakers and connected TV. And all this screen time and being home and social distancing is leading to a nearly 60% increase in the amount of content that we consume. But social distancing is impacting more than just the amount of content that we consume. It's starting to impact the type of ads that are being served. So the trend that's happening is that ads are actually using imagery that avoids social settings. There's been a 30% drop in social media ads that feature images or video of social interaction, social connection, that human element, and an almost 40% increase in images featuring at least one electronic device. And I'll leave the insights portion with this because I find that it hits home for me in particular. I think the change in how we communicate to each other during this time is probably the most important piece for all of us in this virtual conference. Consumers want to hear from brands, Okay, 64% of consumers want to hear from brands that they trust during this time. They want to have a sense of normalcy, but they want an acknowledgement of what's going on. And I think it's that balance that I believe that brands need to keep in mind as we fight through this crisis. This super, super sensitive balance of understanding what the consumers and what people are going through while also maintaining a sense of normalcy. That will be the battle that every brand has to incur over the next few weeks and few months. So I'll leave you with this. Ground Truth is here to help as much as we can. So you can definitely feel free at any time to visit groundtruth.com/insights to stay on top of the trends and leverage these types of insights to stay relevant and effective during these times. So thanks for everybody for having me. Have a great conference, and thanks again to Plug and Play.
Great. Thank you, Dan. We really appreciate your time and your insight. And up next, we have our next keynote speaker, Wesley Haar, founder of Media Monks and executive director at S4 Capital, working alongside of Sir Martin Sorrell, former founder of WPP. Wesley will talk about his now near next framework and share more light on the impact of COVID-19. Wesley, take it away.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Let me do a screen share and pull up my presentation here. There we go. So thank you for the invite. Super fun to be a part of this. Managed to catch some of the previous presentation. I think tease up this presentation quite nicely. It's a bit more in depth on some of the creative opportunities, some of the disruption we're seeing to branding, to marketing, and to our side of the industry, which is more related to advertising and production. We have a half an hour, so I'm gonna start with a very short, very quick intro. We call these sessions the Open Monastery, and hopefully there's enough information, insight, inspiration to make it worth your collective time. The introduction here is that I'm Wesley Haar. I founded Media Monks back in 2001. I'm on the board of S4, which is Sir Martin Sorrell's new gig, and I'm normally based between our LA and our Mexico City office, but I'm currently working from home in Amsterdam, where I founded the company almost 20 years ago. Media Monks, when I talk about it, it's really about three things: amazing talent that we're able to organize and operate around client needs. That leads to some really great work. And then, of course, we're future-proof, which is part of what we'll be discussing today, this idea of being ready for the next wave of consumer behavior and technology. And that's definitely being compressed by COVID, which is quite an interesting context here. Single company, 30 countries, 2,400 people. And there's a slight delay here on the slides. If I would have to position it in a single line, Media Monks /S4 is really an engine to help brands and businesses innovate their marketing and media spend. So with that being said, let's get into the context here. Now, near and next, I think from a COVID perspective, we can actually position that as solving the now. This is smart solutions for day-to-day challenges. The near is really this idea of positioning in a different way, saying different things. We heard some of the research earlier, how you authentic and assistive along the COVID curve, which is different country to country, community to community. And then what happens next is really these strategic steps that we're coining when the masks come off, right? A return to normalcy is gonna be a normalcy that has some really deep changes to culture and to user behavior and to community, and how do you actually set up for success against those things. A bit of context in this space. I think there is an interesting part to this, which is that in part, we're going back to some of the original intent of interactive. I think if you look at digital creative and you look at digital creativity in general, for a large part, it's actually been modeled on a very traditional idea of entertainment, which is film. So digital creative might be shorter film, it might be film in a different format, but in many ways, it really is still film, which means we tend to treat our mobile as a smaller TV, which is really down to the consolidation of online advertising budgets in the big players like Google and Facebook. That really drove this idea of digital advertising, digital content, digital brand experience being mostly linear and mostly film-based, which is weird because if you actually look at what we know about mobile users, they tend to reward creativity and interaction. We see that every time a new platform explodes, TikTok being the latest example, Snapchat before that. It tends to be a lot more interactive, a lot more tactile, a lot more about fun than our advertising tends to look in digital spaces. So one of the interesting things that COVID is doing is putting a bit of pressure on that idea of linear digital advertising being a logical place to play, because we know that the #1 entertainment industry now is actually fully interactive. It's gaming. So while we've modeled our industry on the former winning player in entertainment, we should probably start looking at something that's more interactive, because this is where a lot of brands now find themselves, and COVID is putting all of this in a pressure cooker. There's creative that really functions, feels, looks very traditional like film, and then there's media, which is all about distribution and reach and retargeting. And this idea of experience sort of lives in this empty spot in the middle, which is really where a lot of brands now find themselves, with people no longer being able to shortcut through that experience via physical means, via store visits, via pop-ups, via experiential. It all needs to happen online. And most of the brand ecosystems and digital marketing strategies aren't really set up to do that well. So let's look at what we're seeing. I'm going to take 3 interesting sort of trends per area, the now, the near, and the next, and sort of give some context. So solve the now, we saw a very similar stat in the previous presentation. Sharp, short shock to the system mid-March. We have offices in APAC, office in Shanghai, so we've sort of been following the curve for a few months, but this sort of global realization with Western Europe and the US hitting that at a similar time frame really starts hitting in mid-March. And the first thing it does, it sort of celebrates the scrappiness of brands and advertising and production companies. So the things we see happening immediately is the production industry distributing shoots. Where can we still produce content? We're going to live stream clients and directors into that place, and we're still going to keep production going, which I think is a testament to creative people and production people in general. We're seeing a lot of film content move into animation, both 2D and 3D, some examples here, because there's still a need and a want to communicate. And this is happening in many cases mid-campaign, mid-project. And everybody is still really getting their heads around on the mid to long-term impact of it. This is just about, can we still get stuff finished? And that starts sort of moving into some spaces. We work very closely with Toyota for the Olympics, start moving into places where, as we start understanding some of the changes to our own planning and our own roadmap, can we change our messages a bit by using the same content we have? So edits and re-edits to keep the story moving and maybe moving in a slightly different direction. But really this first phase is all about scrappiness. That means uptick in influencer marketing, time of social distancing, social moments, but I think social channels just sort of up their level of importance, and we're seeing that in most of the stats, which means people are actually leaning into these platforms, not just to connect with friends, but also follow the people that they followed, and they're expecting different stories from those people. So we're seeing brands lean into influencer marketing, lots of FMCG influencer marketing with some really interesting opportunities for different moments, different needs for recipes, different needs for content. I'm hearing a beeping sound, but I'm not sure if that's just me. Let me check. I'm just going to keep going if it's just me. Outdoor goes indoor is actually really interesting. Let me go back to this. We see fashion sort of lean into comfort, which of course is a really nice sort of relevant moment. And we actually see outdoor, which you would expect to be a category to really struggle with this, do some really interesting influencer-based marketing. Outdoor goes indoor. So again, this is relatively scrappy work, and it starts looking at the new normal. And the new normal to me is a really interesting discussion. This is the video, I won't show the whole thing, that introduces this idea of safe studios where you can shoot at a distance and everything is according to strict guidelines and rules and regulations. But part of this starts hinting at a new normal, right? So this initial scrappiness actually starts creating something that I suspect, not just short term, but even midterm will be a new normal and really change how we think about content production. And really what it does, it combines a few things. It means fewer people on location, means less travel, means live streams, starts lowering budgets as well. So brands and procurement teams across the globe are getting used to a new normal of content production, and some of those things will not go away. I think the moment people realize that there is quite a lot of a buffer in these types of projects, we'll see that become the new standard, which is completely going to change production as an industry, which separate conversation, but it's really interesting to look at. And of course, more robotics, which I think especially in film production is an interesting solution that has been under-leveraged so far. So we're seeing scrappiness, we're seeing some of that scrappiness actually support some I think new normal elements. The third part of the solve now is really this idea of having to fill gaps really quickly. People are social distancing, we saw some of these stats, retail going down immensely, online sales going up, not necessarily category specific, but we have seen some hints of what happens when you have a really strong digital ecosystem. Nike actually beats their targets in China, even as physical retail falls down. What does that mean? It means Nike has an amazing digital ecosystem. As people can't shop physically anymore, they're actually getting some of that into their ecosystem. So they're actually outperforming, which means a lot of brands that are caught in this no direct-to-consumer space need to become direct-to-consumer really, really quickly. And they're doing that in a variety of ways. Some are leaning into social e-commerce, some are leaning into Amazon, some are trying to spin up solutions really quickly. But we're seeing brands with a 18-month D2C digital transformation roadmap become a D2C brand in 2 weeks. People are seeing the gaps exposed in their ecosystem, and they're trying to solve that really, really quickly. So if you look at that from an industry impact perspective, long-term, we're expecting lower budgets and different briefs in the content production space, in the campaign production space. I suspect we'll see a foundationally different production process, a lot less travel, more live streaming, more robotics. We're seeing some aesthetics, and I think this is culture. We're seeing some aesthetics now that I think may stick long-term. I think this idea of realness, this idea of all of us being stuck in conference calls, maybe not at our Sunday best, it's bringing an aesthetic to life that's being extended with influencer marketing and now with brands doing the same thing. But I think culturally, some of that will actually stick, and we'll see less polish and less sort of high-end production moving forward. And then we're just seeing all of these ecosystems, all of these brand ecosystems being pressure tested in real time, and gaps are being exposed, and the brands that can move quickly are trying to fill them in really, really quickly. So that's the now. I think the near was really about saying different things, and depending on your timeline, you are 2 to 3 months in to 6 weeks in. So this is really the focus now. And when we talk about saying different things, it really starts here. I think this idea of did they help, which is did companies act as good citizens during this time? It's actually putting a lot of pressure on celebs as well. Huge pushback against sort of celebrity Instagram usage that is totally off. But it really becomes about who stood up and ended up being a good citizen of their community, of their country, of the globe. And we're seeing the first sort of pushback of what that actually means. The small business loans in the US, maybe not going to the companies you would expect those companies or those loans to go to. And we're seeing companies feeling themselves forced to give back those loans. And this is one example, Ashford, which is a hotel group, but there are many, many, many of these examples. And more pressure will actually go on this, because I think instinctively, we all saw those small business loans for the restaurant in our street, the bars on our corners, and the local community. And that's not necessarily where it's now going, and we're going to see that reflected in cultural pushback. New moment. So again, 3 things that are near, but I would say we're, let's say, 2 months in. So this is really where a lot of the focus is. New moments, hugely exciting, right? We're seeing the expected moments, growth of gaming, of course, growth of subscription surges at Netflix, of course, but we're also seeing completely new channels blow up, right? We're seeing Zoom go from 10 million to over 200 million users. We're seeing conference call tools that, sadly, I guess everybody on this call tends to be stuck on every day, suddenly become family communication tools, digital dinner tools, digital drink tools. So these moments are scaling up and new people are being pulled into these ecosystems every single day, and they're changing the reason these systems are being used. A really quick example here that I just really like that our lab team has been working on is if conference call tools now are ways for us to connect with friends, should we gamify those places? And this is an example of a conference call game where you actually go into this call, it asks you to look for a thing, you have to find it in your house, show it to the camera, and we use image recognition to see who wins. So it sort of becomes a rummage around your house game, fun conversational tool. We've used it now quite a lot amongst ourselves, and it's absolutely hilarious. But this is interesting. Moments, channels being used for different ways, create different moments for us to actually be meaningful and be fun and be functional. Great example, we supported Biden and Nike to start doing live stream training exercises because they understand their role now is to still keep people active. What better way to do so than an hour every Saturday where a professional trainer takes people through a training exercise. And we've seen hundreds of thousands of people log in every single weekend. And of course, that is not just moments, it's also messages. And messages to me is a tricky one. We heard that just now, like where are you authentically placed to say something? I think this message is really on point. We saw a lot of brands initially go to the pandemic montage. We will get stronger, we will get back. And it became such a quickly consolidated sort of area of creative that there was a great parody of it that came out a week and a half ago that sort of ended that space. Like nobody should do it anymore, it's been done. And it also wasn't ownable. I think a lot of brands went into that space instinctively, but didn't really reflect what they could actually do in that space. So when we talk about this, we look a lot at role and responsibility. What role / responsibility should or could you have as a brand? And is it authentic and is it ownable? And are you going to be respected and welcomed in that role, or doesn't it make sense and is it too much of a stretch? That really starts with social listening. It starts with insights. It starts with the data we saw in the previous presentation. You need to deeply understand what's happening in community and in conversation to start thinking about the context of your COVID message. This can't just be a one-size-fits-all montage piece, and it also can't sort of veer too far outside of the comfort zone where you should position, because there'll be huge amounts of blowback. So this isn't an easy thing to do, but it gets really, really insightful when you really start digging into this. This is anonymized for a client in the FMCG scene. The research showed that even on the 15th of March, the #1 conversation was about food, because everybody that sort of started getting their heads around this lock-in, the thing they defaulted to en masse wasn't COVID, it was food. It was, what do we do? How do we survive? What can I get? Where is it? What should I cook? And those start to become places where if you're an FMCG brand, you can be helpful, you can be assistive, you can be current, you can be relevant, you can do it in a meaningful way. So the data part of this, and I'll keep this short because we saw some really extensive stuff of this earlier, you can really start tracking changes to communities. Local first is clearly happening right now. Do you have a role to play there? I think it's really interesting to see digital naive groups go to digital native groups. Suddenly grocery shopping online for 65 plus is exploding. Your older family members are now using Zoom and Hangouts like they've never actually used them before, but they're getting used to them because that's the way to connect. So there are huge changes happening at a culture level where people are forming new habits, and those habits hopefully stick, and hopefully some of them won't, but many of them will, depending on the trigger of that habit, the friction they have, and the enjoyment they have. And that's a really interesting place for brands to potentially play, which gets us to new meaning. This is the only video I'll try and show, and I'll skip it after about 30 seconds, but it is Facebook's ad. So this was the original montage ad, which I would say actually was perfectly done, beautiful piece. I'll give it 30 seconds just to keep us moving, but a bit of context. So to keep us moving, if you have some time to check it out, please do. I honestly think it was perfect, on brand. And then you see Facebook sort of moving into that space, using their own tools to help small and medium-sized businesses to better advertise during this time. Which channels and tools and advertising opportunities are there to keep your business going even during this time? So you see this idea of Facebook sort of finding new meaning during this time, which is hugely powerful, and I think will make them come out ahead of where they started this moment, because they're recognizing it and they're recognizing the meaning their brand, their ecosystem, and their apps can actually have. Industry impact, we've looked at brand purpose for years now, and it's been vaguely defined, and I think in many cases not that well. I think we're moving from brand purpose to brand responsibility. Did you turn up? Did you take an active, good citizen of the world role in what's happening right now? And I think that will be what brands are going to be tested against when we return to some sense of normalcy. Digital transformation, not just of companies, but of the consumer. Massive switch to new channels. Because of that massive switch, now under-leveraged channels. Opportunities abound to be meaningful in those new moments. Long-term changes in consumer behavior. There are new traditions being born right now that will stick, and they'll stick in ways that create completely new abilities to reach consumers and be helpful and meaningful. And then I do suspect the digital giants will get stronger because of this, because we're just spending more time there. And I think they're very quickly realizing what is missing in their ecosystems and missing in their channels, and they're trying to solve that, which makes our life collectively a lot easier. Which gets us to next, right? This is where the headspace now is going, which is everybody's sort of gone from complete shock to the system to keep the machine running to what happens next, which is really this idea of when the masks come off, and it needs a bit of context, which if you look at Alibaba, which is now valued at $500 billion plus, anecdotally, a lot of the sort of reason of growth was SARS in 2002, which completely changed how the region looked at shopping. Huge shock to the system for physical retail, moved into e-com. Alibaba was ideally positioned to grab a lot of that growth, and it catapulted them forward, which in the context of today's sessions, there will be many companies born from this time, or many companies that lean in and pivot into this time, that will have huge, huge headwinds or huge wins to sort of get them moving forward. I think there are three parts here again when it comes to strategic steps. One is the 0 to 1. I think this is a transformation, digital transformation. It is something that will no longer happen in PowerPoint slides. It will happen in projects. We do not have the time for an 18-month process by consultants. We need things that actually happen, which brings me to the second point. Solve ecosystem gaps quickly, single KPI sprint. What's the most important thing for us to get to the next level? These things will be more fragmented because of that, quicker, because of that, more impactful. And what to me is really interesting, digital transformation has been in the important but not urgent category on so many roadmaps, where of course it's important, but it doesn't need to happen tomorrow. We're seeing clients literally ask, what can we have online next week? Who are trying to parse their 12, 24, 36 month roadmaps of digital transformation. So it's transforming digital transformation in and of itself. Only plug for us, Google Reactivating Customer Obsession is a really good report that we've done around what this actually means and how COVID is compressing all of that into a shorter time frame. Emerging tech to me is really interesting. There's been this wave of changing user behavior, and the message for me 2 months ago would be cool, but tread carefully, because consumer adoption isn't quite there. COVID is driving consumer adoption of these new technologies really quickly, which means you can get into them earlier at scale. First one, VR, according to Zuckerberg, the next great computing platform. He said that a few years ago, and at that moment in time, that felt shaky at best. We were seeing Gartner sort of communicate around it quite positively, but I think a bit too early in the cycle. If you look at it now, this is where it was stuck, which is very business to business, this idea of training people using VR, much more powerful than sort of flat 2D training programs. So it was really seen as a training and recollection tool. And we've done some work in that space for Google, and then skip this video to keep us going. But what you see now is augmented reality and virtual reality starts becoming really interesting ways to shortcut some of the missing physical experiences. It's also going to be a really rich content play, because so much content production that we would have otherwise watched on Netflix and Amazon and others later this year isn't currently being produced. Look at it as the writer's strike from years ago. We're going to have a huge content gap, and VR could be really well placed to do that at scale, which really brings me to the Travis Scott Fortnite concert that happened last week. Over 12 million concurrent users watching that. This idea of congregating in digital physical spaces, VR is a really powerful tool for that. So I think this is one of those growth moments for VR, because it connects to what I would say is the first great headset, the Oculus Quest, which came out last year, relatively affordable, wireless, high quality, and there'll be more of that type of news happening this year. So this could definitely be VR's moment. Lots of interesting things being launched by Facebook in that space. Quick video here, which is about Facebook Horizon, which is a shared space to commune in. Think about the need for that type of communal activity if more and more we are less inclined to go to communal events, even post this sort of initial wave of COVID. And there's some really great virtual physical avatar work happening, where the image we're seeing here to the right is a digital avatar, which is being captured in real time by somebody wearing a VR headset. So lots of activity there. AR, Tim Cook, he regards it as an idea as big as a smartphone. That's a big statement for Tim to make. We've always been bullish on AR. The intuitiveness of the technology, it's connected to the device you already own. It can give us both narrative and interaction. So bullishness has always been there. I just think it's going to grow because it's the perfect replacement for physical in-store retail demos of products. And the research shows that even if you demo a product in digital, it has the same brain effects, has the same impact on memory, same sort of emotional resonance. So we'll see a lot more AR demo work happen, just because it's such an easy lift to replicate something that tends to happen in the physical world. AR is the perfect sort of touch point content piece to actually get people along that conversion path and that commerce funnel. And I think it's going to speed up this idea of camera as a browser, image recognition leading to AR. People are going to want to touch less things. So scanning something to get the information instead of picking stuff up. Sounds a bit strange, but it's definitely the direction we're seeing a lot of the guidelines moving. And then the unknown element here is the rumored Apple glasses, which we'll see if that actually gets some more traction this year. But there might be a product that finally gets technology and fashion into a decent spot that people feel comfortable with wearing this at scale. So VR, AR, the next sort of wave is voice. This type of stat, which came out a few years ago, was clearly over-indexed. We didn't get to 50%. We are seeing, again, growth of voice because people want less touching of things. So there's going to be some really interesting ways to not have to touch products and counters and use voice technology. This is going to uptick the use of it. It's also a very human technology. Our brains are hardwired to make things we talk to sort of embedded with human traits. I would actually really like to see the stats of uptick in people using their in-home assistants. I don't have those stats yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's a huge uplift there because it's someone to talk to. I'm going to skip the next slide, which is a demo of your Google Home as a marriage counselor. Bit scary, but a nice sort of reflection of where some of this is going. And then the last part of the emerging technologies is AI and machine learning. There's been a lot happening in that space. Most of the news we'll hear over the next few months will be very positive about this space because it's going to help us understand the deep data behind the COVID disease and maybe even help us solve parts of it. So you'll see lots of positive news here. The reality so far is that it's quite a scary space still. Example, it used to take us 20 hours of spoken data to be able to recreate someone's voice. We literally now need 2 sentences and we can have a digital conversation mimicked with a voice of an actual person. So this space, I think, is further ahead than most people understand. It's really something to start thinking about deeply. Machine learning means every brand, every business has eyes. We have ears now. We should start building that into products, into services. And it's interesting to understand how Google talks about this, which is ambient computing, this idea that technology needs to sense where you are, what you need, and when you need it. And more, we're of course moving into that space. There's definitely some privacy worries there. But this idea of being always on ambient devices that are helpful, of course, every moment, we'll see more and more of that happen because of COVID as well. And then the last part of this presentation is what I call digital as a destination. So strategically, we saw the initial shock. We saw a lot of people understand that physical events were not going to be possible, but the timeline of that was unclear. So a lot of conversations started with, we have an event next month, we can't do the event, let's replace it. I think realistically, we now understand this isn't about event replacement. The rules have changed. Congregating large amounts of people in a single place, that is not a short-term activity. It's a year away at least, and it might be longer. And there might be a lot of complexity of people that get to go there and people that won't be able to go. So this isn't about event replacement. It also isn't about just live streams. I think that was what we've seen the first wave, and we've done a lot of them. The excitement and the energy of in-person interactivity isn't really there on live stream. I think for brands, it's dangerous just to lock everything into live stream because you're not capturing the data. The live stream tends to run via tools like Zoom, tools like Facebook, Google, you know, all of them. That's not your data. It's the same mistake that was really made with social, where all of that was handed to a third party. That party built an amazing business on that data, and now you have to pay to get access to it. So I don't think it's just about running a live stream and expecting that to sort of recreate the experience of being in physical spaces together. But it's also not just a website. It probably lives on the web or multimodal, but it's not just the website. It is a combination of all of these things, which means that I would say the key trend moving forward is digital as a destination. How do you think about your digital ecosystem as a place for people to spend time instead of a place for people to get information? Industry impact, digital transformation needs to transform, and we're seeing it happen day by day. Urgency is more important than consultancy. I think this changes how consultancy, the consultancy industry sort of has to look at digital transformation. There'll be a much quicker adoption of emerging technology by consumers. AR, VR, voice, I think the key ones. And to a large extent, and I mentioned this at the beginning, I think we're going back to the original intent of digital. Original intent of digital was always experience meets immersion meets personalization, which to me is digital as a destination. And that is, hey, thank you. I think I just about made it in 30 minutes. Thank you so much for the time. If you have any questions, drop me an email at Wesley Media Monks. I'm not sure if we have time for questions, but thank you for the time.
Thank you, Wesley. Do you have a couple more minutes for questions, if you don't mind, or do you have hard stop?
I'm good. I've some.
Awesome. So the first question we have is from Jack Shannon. Thank you so much, by the way, for your presentation and your time. We appreciate it. Are you in the Netherlands, by the way?
Yeah, currently I'm in lockdown in Amsterdam. I'm on day 52. Amsterdam.
Awesome. And it's 6 p.m. over there, correct?
Yeah.
Or 5? Oh, got it.
I see.
All right. So the first question we have is from Jack Shannon from Recess. He's also a CEO and founder of a startup in the events space as well. And the question he has is, you mentioned digital transformation of the consumers with a shift to under-leveraged channels. How are you seeing brands leverage the big surge in virtual events as a new way to connect with consumers?
To be honest, I think a lot of brands are still getting their heads around what that means. We have seen brands sort of try and lean into the communal aspect of music, especially. So a lot of brands trying to facilitate musical moments that otherwise would have happened because people would go to events and concerts. I just don't think it's really working at the moment because it's purely that live stream moment, which is okay, but I think we've sort of gone through the first wave of that. So now it's really about the community, the experience, the excitement of congregating for something that is quite unique. The challenge for digital is all about scale. excitement a lot of times is about scarcity. So how do you combine those things? Because a great ticket for like a front row ticket for a great concert, that's more exciting than looking at a live stream of something that everybody's looking at. So I think there is a bit of a redefinition of how those things work that is happening right now. I think a startup in the event space is both is both really difficult, but also extremely exciting now, because I think there's billions of dollars of spend that are loose that have to be spent in different ways now. So really interesting industry to look at.
Got it. And I had another question for all the startups on the line today. There's a lot of great founders on the line. What kind of advice can you give to everybody, all the entrepreneurs and startups on the line, to manage, you know, this crisis through this challenging time? As a founder of a company yourself, I'm sure you've gone through a lot with Media Monks and getting to where you are and access to fundraising. You know, a lot of startups are struggling with, you know, following up on fundraising. Curious to see what you have, you know, what kind of advice you have for everybody on the line listening today.
Yeah, it's a variety of things. Button down. This is not an easy time. It's going to be difficult to get funding. Revenue could be under pressure. So you're trying to build as long a runway as you can possibly build. Put something in front of you where you know there's opportunity. I think there's an amazing amount of white space happening now. Opportunities are easier to get. I'm talking to clients where normally it would take 6 months to get a bite at something, and that bite is now happening in 1 week because everybody is waiting to hear what happens now. So there is amazing opportunity to position aggressively as a thought leader and really move your business forward because of that. And then the third part is it's never, I think entrepreneurs have to do this anyway, but you have to roll with the punches because you're going to get completely undeserved bad news more than you'd like. But there are just things out of your control now that you can't have influence your decision making. So it's about moving forward, taking the bad beats as they come, and just trying to find white space and open up opportunities quickly. But yeah, I think my mindset is always you have very little. Well, you have no control or impact on macroeconomics, so you have to create your own little microeconomics bubble to keep the fight going.
Makes sense. And one last question before we let you go here. We have a question from Wymin. What do you think the impact of security and privacy will have in the new normal world, in your opinion?
It's a very interesting one. Question. Well, so realistically, it's a scary question, not because I think I'm scared of the privacy part of it. I think I'm scared of the sort of conversation that will happen around it. So we're already seeing some of these things happen in Asia Pacific, where you'll be tracked, you'll have a passport to be able to go into certain places. This idea of a record and that being a way to do certain things or not do certain things. I think a lot of countries would like to go that way. I think Apple and Google building some of that tracking capability into their OSs makes a lot of sense. I just think that the conversation that it opens up in the world and the pushback that it gets from people that are worried that it's sort of Big Brother is going to make for this huge split at a cultural level of people that are using these tools versus people that aren't using these tools. And it's just going to make the sort of the culture clash or the culture war that we see globally heat up. So my take on it is I'm not worried about the privacy component per se. I think it makes a lot of sense to lean into what Google and Apple are doing there, because we mostly have phones made by those folks, at least with software made by those folks. But I'm worried of it working at scale, because I think it's a conspiracy-laden topic. Like if people are burning down 5G masts globally, I'm not sure they're gonna install a tracking app on their phone anywhere soon.
Yes, yes. And for all the brands and startups on the line today, we took a quick poll of those who can benefit by implementing some of the new technologies that you were talking about and throughout these challenging times. What is the best way to get in touch with you and the rest of the team at MediaMonks?
Easiest Wesley at MediaMonks.com. Easy way to drop me a note. And otherwise, MediaMonks.com, the website. But always open for questions and conversations. I think it's been, from my perspective as a founder, also a very energizing moment, because you're having more impactful conversations, I think, now with clients and with partners than you normally have. And right. that is actually a really interesting part of what's happening at the moment. I think very things move quicker because of this. And we're always available for conversations.
We appreciate your time, Wesley. Thank you so much for being with us and being a keynote speaker today with everybody on the line. And that sums up our session with Wesley. Next, I would like to introduce Tanya, our venture associate, to introduce the first set of startups presenting today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks again, Wesley and Dan, for their insightful keynotes. I'm Tanya. I'm from the Media and Adventures team, and I'll be your MC for the day. So by now, I hope everybody's settled. I hope everyone's kind of wearing the quarantine uniform of business shirts up top and pajama pants at the bottom, and you've all got your coffees on hand. So today we have 21 startups presenting. In the first part of the day, we'll be showcasing our original batch 0 startups, and then followed by our batch 1 startups, which many of you have already got to know during our 3-month program. So this is the first time we've hosted our program virtually, and our startups have done a really amazing job adjusting to the transition while working through this difficult time. So we have representatives from each startup on the line to answer any questions via the Q&A box after their presentation. And you'll have the opportunity to let us know whether you'd like an introduction via the poll, which many of you have already voted on, which will pop up after each presentation. So without further ado, let's jump into the first startup. We have Oliver here from Quid. And congratulations on your recent merger with NetBase, by the way. That's awesome news. So Quid is a data analytics platform that allows companies to visualize their connections, trends, insights, and that will help you understand your story better, understand your customers and your competitors, and what's happening within your market. So feel free to play the video.
Hi, my name is Oliver Bloom. I sit on the business development team here at NetBase Quid. For those who aren't familiar, up until a few months ago, NetBase and Quid actually existed as 2 separate entities. NetBase offers best-in-class social media intelligence, while Quid offers a text analytics platform analyzing consumer and industry landscapes. Our leaders really saw these 2 tools as 2 puzzle pieces that had yet to find their way together, so in early February, we merged the 2 companies. Our vision is to build and deliver the next generation AI that provides real-time consumer and market intelligence. While Quid and NetBase still operate as 2 complementary products, I'm really just going to focus on the features, capabilities, and benefits of Quid over the next couple minutes. So at its core, Quid is a data visualization and insights platform that uses machine learning and natural language processing to instantly draw connections across massive amounts of text-based data. We inspire this idea of full picture thinking. The dots and lines in our core visualization represent similarity in language pattern between one piece of content and another. Quid really gives users the ability to understand any given topic within a matter of minutes. Things like identifying trends and themes that are going to support those high-level business decisions. This slide is a visualization of how Quid works. Typically, when you're going in to understand something macro like the Internet of Things, you would turn to Google and are left with millions of results. If you use Quid to conduct a similar analysis, you create a Boolean query from the platform and cast a net around the articles that matter most to your search. From there, Quid will read the full text of a given article, identify the semantic meaning behind that article, and pull out things like keywords, company names, people's names, sources, reporters, and so on. Quid then takes all that rich metadata and visualizes it like you see on the right hand of the screen. Every dot within the cluster represents a specific article, and every group of articles colored together represents similarity in language and a subtopic forming within the Internet of Things. What you're left with are, what are the key narratives driving media coverage around the Internet of Things? How large are those narratives to the overall conversation as a whole? How central are the narratives? How individual are the narratives? Which brand has the largest share of voice? Which reporters are covering which topics? So on and so forth. Now you can go in and actually zoom into each narrative and learn more about each one to get a more, micro lens about what's going on in terms of each article. Now, not only do we analyze news and blogs, but we also have a company's data set and a patents data set that allows you to do a number of different analysis. We understand that these three data sets might not answer every question, and so we have given our users the ability to upload any piece of written content, whether it's like a product review, social media data, customer feedback, or online forums. As long as it's uploaded into Quid as a CSV, Quid will read it, analyze it, and visualize it within a matter of minutes. Our most popular use cases tend to be media relations, understanding the voice of the consumer, developing content, identifying key opinion leaders, doing competitive intelligence research, and of course, narrative landscape mapping like we saw before. Thank you so much. I hope that was insightful. Please contact me to learn more if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Oliver. So yes, as mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, please type in the Q&A box and we will be answering them there. So we'll give a couple more seconds for any questions to be posted and then we can move on to the next startup. All right, so up next, we have Nikal from Lucidity. Lucidity collects data across platforms and brings transparency to ad campaigns.
Hi, my name is Nikayo Yang. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Lucidity. Lucidity is a marketing analytics company. We use blockchain to help authenticate and validate every impression and every click that digital marketers spend and send through the ad ecosystem. Fraud and waste is a very big problem today for these marketers, especially in these current times. Now, more than ever, marketers want to know where every dollar is going to make sure they get exactly what they're paying for. How does our tech work? Well, at a very high level, we collect campaign data across your ad tech supply chain vendors. So that means we'll ingest campaign data from your DSP, from your third-party ad verification company, and from your exchanges. And we take that data, we collect it, and we match it and authenticate it to determine whether every single impression and every single click is valid or not. What marketers are able to do with these insights is to log into our dashboard, and then from these insights inside of the dashboard, trace at a very granular level the supply path back to supply source inventories who are working well for them and who are not. And from there, our partners then are able to optimize these campaigns towards higher performing sources of inventory, away from wasteful inventory, away from potentially fraudulent inventory as well. That's how we work with our customers today. Our customers include leading brands from automotive companies, quick serve restaurants, CPG brands, and we'd love the opportunity to work with you guys as well. Again, my name is Nikayo Yang. I'm the COO of Lucidity, and I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nikayo. That was some really great music, very kind of motivating and inspiring. So we have a couple of seconds left on the poll. Remember to vote on each startup, and then we'll move on to the next one. So the next startup we have is Battlefy. So AT&T reports that gaming-related traffic in April was 50% higher than pre-lockdown levels. I mean, we all probably know someone who's become a couch potato and is now glued to their computer, phone, or video game console. So Battlefy is an esports tournament platform which allows brands and companies to connect with their active and growing, mainly focused on millennial and Gen Z audience.
Hello, Plug and Play. Thank you for having us. My name is Zach Hahn, and I'm the head of sales for Battlefy. Battlefy is a platform that powers esports competitions, and we do this in two ways. We do it from the top down. This is how we engage with brands and allow them access to our esports audience. And we do it from the bottoms up, and this is an opportunity for anyone around the globe to create and play in their own esports competitions. Currently, Battlefy is home to over 180,000 esports leagues, and that translates into a reach of over 80 million millennials and Gen Zs. On Battlefy specifically, they're creating a tournament over every 3.5 minutes, and somebody's joining one of those tournaments every 1.8 seconds. On an average day, we see almost 110,000 hours of competitive gameplay that happens via the Battlefy network. And who is that audience? 91% of them are 34 years or younger. They spend 6+ hours a week engaging with esports, whether that's watching a stream on Twitch, YouTube, or Mixer, or playing in a tournament on Battlefy. And their interests outside of gaming are exactly what you'd think: sports, tech, music, movies, etc. And it's because of this audience and our know-how in creating and running these tournaments that we've been lucky enough to work with some of the largest publishers out there to power their official leagues, whether that's the Collegiate League of Legends for Riot, or Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. Qualifiers, or the FIFA Global Series for EA. But let's talk about how a brand can play in the esports space. Currently, most brands are sponsoring, and whether they're sponsoring a team, a player, a tournament, or an influencer, content is then created out of that sponsorship, and it passively engages with the largest part of the competitive gaming pyramid. That's through video, live stream, and VOD. But it is truly a passive conversation, and there is no data for you guys to collect. We want to change that. We want to give you ownership of a fully turnkey esports experience that is truly yours. So for today's example, let's call it the plug and play event, where you're now engaging with the largest part of the competitive gaming pyramid. And those players are giving you that one-to-one conversation, and you have access to the full player data. And from that tournament, we're going to be creating and helping you distribute content. And we're going to distribute it through two different avenues. The first is through our Battlefy influencer network, which reaches over 30 million people. The second is through our social channels, and using our social channels layered with two types of data. First, our first-party data. But also, we have a partnership with Warner Media that will give us access to AT&T data, Turner data, DirecTV data, E-League data, just to name a part of it. So now we can really drill down and dig into finding that audience for you, connecting them with that content we've created, re-engaging them or passively engaging them, and trying to bring them in for the next round of tournaments. And we do this with three main pillars. The first is our relationships, not only our relationships with those esports players, but also with the publishers themselves to bring you that content so you can create these tournaments. We'll help you develop, execute, and run the entire tournament, fully turnkey. And that can be in 17 different languages around the globe. And lastly, we'll give you a home to house not only the tournament itself, but all of the players' information, the rankings, any content that is created, scalable, and give you access to all of that data. We'd love to talk to you more about what we could do specifically with you and your brand, and brainstorm on ways we can bring this to life. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thanks so much, Zach. It's incredible how far esports has come. You know, we've got companies that are esports influencer companies becoming billion-dollar companies, such as Fuzzy Clan. All the top YouTubers are now esports gamers. So it's an incredible space to be in. So up next, now we have QuanticMind. So QuanticMind is an intelligence marketing management platform which uses intelligent data science algorithms and machine learning-based automation.
Hello, my name is Brian Bird, and I'm co-founder and COO of QuanticMind. And I'm here today to talk about QuanticMind's mission to help brands and enterprises transform their data silos into revenue growth. So who is QuanticMind? Our DNA is at the union of digital marketing and data science. Before starting QuanticMind, as a founding team, we were managing hundreds of millions of dollars of customer acquisition budgets for many of the world's largest brands, including Wells Fargo, Best Buy, Marriott, and Ford, to name a few. And we leveraged that expertise to found QuanticMind and offer a simple value proposition to help brands unlock the power of their siloed data to enable superior marketing results. And that's what we do today for a host of Fortune 500 companies across both our technology and enterprise consulting service offerings. Now, here are a few of the specific use cases that we enable those leading brands to take advantage of to drive revenue growth. So by establishing a system of record for siloed sales and marketing data, QuanticMind builds an incredibly powerful data layer that can be used to, for example, run marketing mix modeling in near real time, as well as to execute multi-platform and cross-channel marketing campaigns with a focus on ROI. The underlying products that QuanticMind has developed really fall into three categories and are what deliver on those use cases. Our advanced measurement module allows QuanticMind to consolidate data from those disparate sales and marketing data silos, and then to syndicate and share reports, dashboards, and insights across an organization and across partner ecosystems. The data-driven media buying module is where QuanticMind can enable things like frequency capping, as well as digital media campaign execution and orchestration with that focus on ROI. And then the routes to revenue module is where QuanticMind is able to help map user journeys and enable highly personalized user experiences. Now, for today, I'd like to do a really quick demo of one of the products that we've focused heavily on during our time in this plug and play program. And it exists within our advanced measurement module and is called the QuanticMind Marketing Intelligence Platform. The Marketing Intelligence Platform is built for digital marketing leaders and their teams. And the problem that it solves is pretty straightforward, but for context, digital marketing teams are often working with siloed data and have to spend a lot of manual effort to be able to join data from various systems and platforms together. And that takes time away from being able to build and manage programs in order to do administrative work. And so the Marketing Intelligence Platform makes it really easy for a digital marketing team to be able to build the recipe of all the various platforms that they leverage and where their data exists, connect all those platforms to QuanticMind, and then be able to have access to really flexible and powerful dashboards like the one you see here to track KPIs, be able to easily configure the scope of the data, and then be able to share, schedule, and otherwise distribute this data across their company and with their partners. So the Marketing Intelligence Platform is just one of the many examples of what QuanticMind is able to deliver to help brands win the battle for revenue. We'd love to tell you more, so please reach out today at quanticmind.com. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Brian. If anybody has any questions for Brian, please put them in the Q&A box. And just a reminder to include the name of the company that you're asking the question to. This can help us keep track in the future. And if you have any questions for the earlier companies, they can answer them too. So up next, we have Jack from Recess. So despite being confined to our homes, I've actually attended more events than ever, all virtual, of course. And as Wesley mentioned, we recently saw that a lot of celebrities are hosting their events live, whether it be on Instagram or Fortnite. I actually got to participate in the Fortnite one hosted by Travis Scott, and it was incredibly interactive. Your character could kind of swim around all these effects and interact with the Travis Scott avatar that was created, which was absolutely incredible and really, really innovative as well. So Recess is a marketplace that helps brands connect with their audience through both virtual and live events.
Jack Shannon, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Recess, the easiest way to sponsor events. With sports, concerts, and bars all on hold due to COVID-19, we're seeing lots of brands that are turning to virtual events as a new medium to reach consumers through shared experiences. But leveraging these opportunities looks a lot like the physical event space as well. It's very fragmented supply. There's millions of events that are popping up and taking place. Really inconsistent inventory. They all have their own different sponsorship packages and ways that they want to sell things to brands. And it's a very manual buying process that looks a lot to us like digital advertising prior to programmatic exchanges. Also, ROI measurement is very difficult traditionally as well. So we've built an online marketplace that connects brands and agencies to streamline targeted acquisition campaigns and bring both sides together. So how does our product work? We have an SSP, or supply side tool, that allows us to intake all of the inventory, a demand side platform that allows advertisers to target and identify their audiences at the right events, a logistics tool that makes the coordination of these campaigns very easy, and a measurement and remarketing tool that makes it easy to see the impact of these programs. We have a variety of different ways that brands can target and identify their audiences based on location, whether it's a virtual or in-person event. If it is a physical event, distance to retailer, type of event, size, a number of different parameters. And our logistics tool is saving brands anywhere from 80 to 90% of the time they used to spend searching for events, communicating before, doing contracts, logistics, and all those things. So I wanted to quickly show you actually what the tool looks like. It's a feed, not too dissimilar from an Airbnb or booking a flight on an online platform. So you can specify your location, or whether it's a virtual event, the date that you're looking for of your campaign, the price that you're looking to hit within it, attendance or reach, event types, and then any restrictions that go into it. That presents a feed of opportunities here that you can easily add these to your cart and very, very easily build a campaign across multiple different event organizers. And then go through an online kind of checkout-like experience. It makes it all really simple and easy to streamline all of those through one central portal. So, how did we get started? We started seeding our marketplace initially in the physical event space with 400 university partners, thousands of events reaching millions of students. And we've now started to expand outside of that space into virtual events, online music festivals and concerts, esports, fitness classes, online cooking shows, and expanding to events, physical events outside of the collegiate space as well. Brands are starting to leverage virtual events through native integrations and leveraging this reach and scale to directly acquire customers with some kind of call to action or value to the attendees. So how does Recess work? First, brands can choose their sponsorship inventory and their creative. So they can standardize a campaign that they want to deploy across multiple different event organizer partners, specifying what that is. Then those event organizers can choose to apply to participate in that campaign, and the brand or advertiser has the ability to accept or deny those partnerships. So they're in full control of building out and choosing which partners they want to work with on a campaign. All of that creative is funneled to one central point or destination. So that could be their own e-commerce, it could be driving to their Amazon, or it could be an app-based delivery partner like a 7-Eleven Now or Saucy or Drizzly or one of these other partners. We'd love to chat with anybody that might be interested in testing out a campaign with us. First step would be to just sign up for our platform and our tool, which is free to do. There's no cost to use Recess, no subscription fee or SaaS fee, and you only pay the cost to the event organizers. So there's no markups, no additional costs. So it makes it really easy to get started, set up your first campaign, and start choosing event partnerships to run from there.
Thanks so much, Jack, and thanks for asking a great question earlier also. Once again, please vote on the poll and we will be making the connections after the event. So up next, we have Varun from MachEye. So for those who don't want to spend hours sifting through Excel sheets and interpreting data and then creating graphs, MachEye is a data democratization and visualization platform that allows anyone to generate and understand insights within minutes.
Hello, this is Varun Kohli, co-founder of MachEye. Take an example of any mid to large size organization today. They all probably have north of 100,000 reports. Even today, when there's a new insight you want on customer churn, channel revenue, page viewership, people still think reports. When the business users are surrounded by so many reports, the world has more than 1 trillion, I guess. If you ask them a simple question, which 2 of your products are actually declining in sales? Probably 3 out of 10 people know how to do analytics. 7 out of 10 people are clueless. And these 7 out of 10 people take something called a human-to-human approach. Take an example of a retail procurement manager. He needs to know how many chairs should he order in California. He goes to the analyst. Analyst goes to the data scientist who puts some numbers together, sends it back. She would put visualization on top, think Tableau, Click, Power BI. The poor guy could not wait. He goes around the process, meets with the vendor, uses his hunch to order the number of chairs. What we are doing at MachEye is trying to bring it down to under 6 seconds. We want to tell this business user, you sell 100,000 chairs, 56% of them come from Southern California, 38% are sold alongside a table. And if you actually go with the vendor you're about to meet in the next hour, combine the purchase orders, your margins will be 1.8% better. How do we do it? We sit on top of your enterprise data warehouse. We automatically apply multiple machine learning algorithms to your data. These machine learning algorithms might be something that you have written in-house in R or Python. It might be something that we ship out of the box. Instead of shipping a static report, we actually generate a 2-minute long interactive audio visual. Imagine reading a business newspaper that tells you exactly how your business is changing. Within 2 minutes, you're up and running on how things are moving. Let's say you have a quick question. You come and say, show me breakfast sales in week 26, 2019. It goes through tens of millions of rows within seconds, produces the answer, answers what you were looking for, but also says there is some interesting insight you should look at.
Good afternoon. This analysis measures breakfast sales in week 26, 2019 and presents you the information with various perspectives. The total sales for hot breakfast during week 26, 2019 is $25,022 in store transactions.
You saw that we answered the question right away. We're answering it here in case you want to share this movie with someone. This is not an MP4. This is an interactive audio visual. We automatically applied multiple machine learning algorithms to your data. There is a distribution model, a segmentation model, and the analogies model that is relevant to the question and the underlying data.
The majority of the sales in store transactions are between $4 and $18.60, and the average sales is $29.51.
All the text that you're seeing here is machine generated.
There are 4 unique clusters of store transactions with different average sales. Hot breakfast week 26, 2019.
Imagine a business user trying to do clustering on their own, finding the perfect column, finding the perfect algorithms. It's going to take them a while. Within 2 minutes of asking the question, you have all the related insights without anyone manually working on any reports or charts. Why are companies choosing MachEye? Number one, we are providing autonomous insights in case the business user does not know what to look for. We are making AI less artificial. Interactive audio visuals is very unique to us. A huge plus, we are not duplicating any data. We are shipping a personal business companion, taking a cloud-first approach without shipping any appliance. Start talking with your data today and send us an email at hello@macheye.com. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Varun. I've definitely spent my life being that woman with the pen. And if I had found MachEye early, I would have saved a lot of time in those late nights working. So MachEye is also a portfolio company. And yeah, we're really happy to have them here. Up next, we have Dan from Hive. So Hive is an AI as a service platform specialized in computer vision, which I think every business needs in some sort of capacity these days. They offer solutions ranging from data labeling to model and application development.
Hello, I'm Dan Kalpin and I'm the president of Hive Media. Over the next few minutes, I'll introduce you to our company and share how we work across the media ecosystem. Hive is a full-stack AI company based in San Francisco and specialized in computer vision and deep learning. We have about 200 employees and have raised more than $50 million from a combination of top financial and strategic investors. The company was founded by two Stanford grad students, Kevin Guo and Dimitri Karpman. I joined the company last year after spending the past 12 years at Bain & Company, where I was a partner in the firm's media and entertainment and customer marketing practices. Our business, which serves a diverse set of client across industries, has three pillars: data labeling, AI as a service, and enterprise solutions. Today, I'll briefly highlight examples of each with how we work with media owners, agencies, brands, and others in the media ecosystem. Underpinning each of these pillars is Hive Work, the foundation of our company and our source of unfair advantage. In Hive Work, we operate the world's largest distributed workforce of humans labeling data. We now have more than 2 million people globally who we pay money to help us label data. Hive Work provides us with a scale of data labeling capacity that's unmatched by even the largest captive workforces, which unlocks differentiated speed of labeling and quality of models. While much of the data we label is a means to an end of training our models, data labeling is a business in and of itself, turning unstructured content like video and images into structured data at a fraction of the time and cost of alternatives. Recent examples in the media space include extracting metadata from advertising creatives, identifying white space opportunities for new sponsorship assets, and enriching content metadata for broadcasters to enable programming strategies and content archival use cases. The core of our business is the building and licensing of computer vision and deep learning models, powering AI agendas across our corporate client base. We have a diverse set of media-relevant models, a few of which I'll highlight in brief today. Trained on more than 120 million pieces of hand-labeled data, Hive's content moderation suite has consistently and significantly outperformed comparable offerings from top public clouds in client-led benchmarking. We now power AI-driven content moderation for about 20 platforms globally, including some of the largest and fastest growing players in the space. Our logo detection model has been trained to recognize the logos of more than 5,000 global and local brands, and similarly has significantly outperformed comparable solutions. This model has been trained on more than 2 million man-hours of human-labeled data and allows for precise and immediate understanding of brand exposure and content. This model serves a diverse set of use cases, from powering sponsorship valuation to helping brands monitor press mentions to automating pieces of publishers' creative review processes. We're also helping broadcasters create new premium advertising inventory defined on context. As an example, using our technology, a travel brand could pay a premium to buy a spot in a program following a scene of a family on a beach vacation. Enterprise solutions are subscription software products, powered by our models and other privileged data sets. Our flagship product in the media space is Mentio, an AI-powered dashboard used by brands, agencies, and TV ad sales teams for faster and more granular insights on TV advertising and sponsorships. Mentio has been built in partnership with Bain & Company and has cultivated a robust set of data partnerships, allowing us to connect our content metadata with spend, viewership, and a diverse set of outcomes data sets to enable richer competitive intelligence and enhanced planning for our customers. While today's introduction only scratches the surface of who we are and what we do, I invite you to reach out to me personally at dan@hive.ai. As a few prompts, on data labeling, if there is a manual labeling activity that is time-consuming and/or costly in your organization, we can likely help. And in fact, in the past few weeks of the current environment, have seen a surge in these types of requests. On AI as a service, if any of the examples that I highlighted today are of interest, please reach out, obviously. However, even if they're not, I'm happy to connect and share how companies similar to yours are using our media relevant models. On Mentio, the COVID-19 disruption has created unique demand for real-time monitoring of the advertising ecosystem, but did so in an environment where many of our core customers are facing temporary budget freezes. With this in mind, we decided to invest in our industry relationships during the downturn and launched an industry-wide no-cost access to Mentio for any brand, agency, or TV ad sales team. We received more than 100 trial requests, have already onboarded almost 40 of those companies, and would be happy to get your company set up if there's interest. With that, thank you for your time. I'll look forward to reconnecting soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Dan. And that's incredible that you're offering a free trial to everybody who's attending here today. Very generous of you, and thanks for really adding value in a time that is difficult for many of the companies. So up next, we have Lucky. So Lucky collects location-specific data and consumer insights and provides relevant rewards in real time.
Hi, my name is Haar, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lucky. And we're on a mission to create the best consumer experience for purchasing products in this new omni-channel world. We now live in a world where brands, retailers, and consumers have so many different options to both engage with each other, buy products from each other, and also interact and learn from one another. There's hundreds of different channels to buy products and dozens of different touch points through which brands and retailers engage with consumers. And a big issue in that is personalizing the content through all these different channels. It's been done the same for the past few decades. In fact, 4 out of 10 consumers are lost to a brand because of poor personalization, which includes content that is irrelevant to a consumer being marketed to them, or even giving them an ill-timed reward when they have no intent of buying. The previous personalization methods were done using gathering data from cookies across browsers to track consumer behavior, but now browsers are phasing that out. So it's even more important for brands to understand directly from a consumer and gather their first-party data to see what they're interested in. On average, brands sell products through 8 different channels. This results in different complexities and trying to understand how a consumer feels when they engage with different touch points. So we built a universal solution for a cohesive experience across all these touch points. Our process is simple. We gathered the insights from a consumer in the moment to really learn what they're interested in by creating an engaging experience. We then personalize the reward and offers that they get right then in the moment to incentivize them to take action. And then afterwards, now you can retarget those users with content that's actually relevant to them. With our experience, you can drive purchases both in store and online based on the location of the consumer. We can set location-specific rewards, so different parts of the city or even different cities in the US or the world can have different rewards and offers based on the consumer. And we offer instant buy online, pick up in store functionality through our experience because we want the consumer to be able to go through our experience and easily purchase that product right then and there and pick it up in the store next door. This is how our solution works. The consumer goes to the mobile site, they're able to engage with our experience, they get a reward or offer right then and there based on their response, and it helps them navigate to the closest store, or they can save to use later. You can engage with consumers as they move. You're able to gather this first-party data, which is super important in building out these different audience profiles. And then afterwards, you can optimize your retargeting by truly understanding what a consumer is interested in and segmenting those users and sending each batch of consumers specific content. This is how the back-end dashboard works. A brand goes in, creates a campaign, selects the date, the demographic that they're targeting. Then they go and build out an insight question that they want to collect data from with different rewards for each option. They can go in and geofence an area, in this case, San Francisco, and then they can see all the data in real time about how consumers are interacting with these brands. So far, we've seen about a 40% lift in consumer engagement across our mobile touchpoints, about a $50 increase in in-store versus online purchases by driving people to physical retail, and about 100% of all the data is consumer-centric because it's your consumers giving you their feedback on what they're interested in the moment. We've seen massive growth over the past few months with onboarding brands all the way from retail brands to omni-channel brands to even D2C e-com brands. We have 75 more brands in our pipeline and we're onboarding more every single week. We've formed strategic partnerships with different organizations to provide us expertise in building our platform and getting our infrastructure implemented. We partnered with one of the top 3 retail trade associations to give us access to the top 2 retailers in every industry vertical. We're partnering with key players in the industry as our go-to-market strategy, which include agencies, content and trade associations, and even e-commerce plugins to simplify our approach and integrations to make it a truly plug-and-play solution. With our research, we've seen about 84% of consumers want a seamless online and offline experience. 3/4 of people already use a mobile device while shopping physically, and 90% of people have location data turned on through their mobile phone. Our business model is simple. We charge a monthly SaaS fee based on the number of monthly engagements that occur, and all of these plans include certain functionalities, especially our enterprise custom plan. Consumers want this one-to-one relationship, and with our experience, you can finally give that to them. Start your free pilot today, and we'd love to learn more and see how we can help. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snare. Yeah, really, really interesting startup. As you can see, we work with startups that range from different sizes, whether it be early stage to all the way to late stage as well. So it's a really diverse bunch of batch zero startups. Now we do have a 10-minute break. We'll be back at 10 a.m. for the next round of startups, and those will be our batch one startups. So feel free to grab a drink, pet your dog, or even just vibe out to the music, and we'll be back. back, everybody. Is it me or is the music pretty neat? I think we're really giving Travis Scott's Fortnite event a run for their money. So just a quick reminder about housekeeping. For all those who just joined, if you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A box after the presentation, and our startups will be answering them there. If you'd like an introduction, there will be a poll that pops up after each presentation, and we will be making the introductions based on your responses. So please click either yes or no, and the introductions will be made shortly after the event. In addition, this event is recorded, and so you'll have an opportunity to have access to it if you want to review any of the content. So we will get started on our next round of startups, which are our batch 1 startups. And these startups have been absolutely amazing, you know, really adjusting to this new kind of virtual way of working, and they've done a great job at that. So we've got first up, Ashley from Vntana. Vntana is a 3D automation platform which allows companies to create, manage, and distribute their 3D assets. Given the whole you know, virtual situation, I think Vntana has definitely a lot of value to add.
My name is Ashley Crowder. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Vntana. I have a master's degree in engineering from USC, where I got valuable experience in mixed reality, where the military funded research in the subject. So I've been working in the 3D and mixed reality space for almost a decade. And we founded Vntana because we wanted to make it easy for people to create 3D web and AR experiences proven to more than double conversion rates. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to share my phone to the screen. And I'm actually wearing socks. I'm not wearing any shoes, which is important because it looks like I am. So this is an app that's actually overlaying the 3D image onto my foot. I think I like the gold ones better. It's that simple and easy to allow people to actually do virtual try-on at home. This has been a huge way to increase conversion rates on web. And at Vntana, we've built the world's first omni-channel 3D automation software to make it easy to go from existing manufacturing design file to 3D on the web, like this beautiful Adidas shoe behind me. Having a 3D version of your product has proven to more than double conversion rates and reduce returns by 40% because people have a better understanding of the product. If you take that one step further and actually place it in your home, like House did with furniture or the shoe app I just showed you, people are getting an 11x increase in conversions. This is a massive revenue increase. So why is everyone not doing this? To date, it's been really expensive and time consuming. It can take about a week for a 3D artist to complete the work, ranging from around $2,500. If you're Adidas that launches 25,000 products a year, this quickly becomes unmanageable. So Vntana has solved this with automated software. Our algorithms take the existing manufacturing file and immediately create the 3D web and AR experience in minutes. And we've gotten the cost down to under $4 per product per month. So how does this work? We start with the existing manufacturing file. It's usually massive. This couch is almost 200 megabytes. Your website would crash if you tried to put it on there. But you can simply upload that to the Vntana cloud, and our smart algorithm actually understands the shape of the model, decimates it down to 3.5 megabytes, and converts it to the file types needed for web, AR, and VR. All of this is done in a matter of minutes, and it maintains the shape and quality with zero data loss. And now it's ready to be easily distributed on your website, much in the way that Vimeo allows you to easily copy and paste an iframe. Vntana does the same thing for 3D. These are all the different file programs we are compatible with. So depending on if you're a retail or industrial product seller, these are the different programs you might be familiar with. So you can simply upload that file to our cloud platform, which has a built-in content management system, so you can easily keep products organized and share them between different teams, and even add tags with specific information like bill of materials and inventory. If I open up a specific product, I can see these glasses. We reduced the file size by 80%, and they still look great. I get this iframe. I can easily copy and paste and share on the web, and that has a built-in AR as well. I can also download all of these assets, which are the ones required for various web, AR, and VR programs. And lastly, I want to talk about the quality of these assets. Today, normal web cannot do transparency and shiny things, but we can, as you can see with these glasses. And that's because we've added in physical-based rendering techniques, and we give our users the ability to adjust all of these on the fly. So they have full control and can save and make preset settings. So with Vntana, you're now ready to take your existing manufacturing design files and immediately create 3D web, AR, and VR experiences proven to not only double conversion rates, but also reduce returns and even replace the need for expensive prototyping. We're looking to connect with more retailers we can help out today, especially during COVID. So please send me an email at ashley@vntana.com. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ashley. The 3D glasses looked really great. The quality was really, really clear. Up next now, we have Hannah from Firework. So everybody has heard of TikTok by now. You've probably watched your children and your family member or dance around the house, or you've even participated in creating some short form videos yourself. So at a cultural level, short form videos are definitely here to stay. Firework is a short-form open web video content platform targeting the millennial and Gen Z audience.
Hi, plug and play judges and friends. My name is Hannah Shin. I drive business development at Firework. So for Firework, we target to be the largest professional user-generated content short video platform globally. What does that mean? So if you look at the graph here, you can see that we position ourselves as a 30-second version of YouTube, or last year, many media actually dubbed us as the rival of TikTok, but we're very different in terms of content format and quality. So we focus on what we call professional user-generated content. What it does is we have a network of 400,000 creators, who a lot of them are veteran YouTubers, professional creators, creating content in the streams of lifestyle, travel, etc. And the likes of TikTok and Instagram, they focus on shorter 6 seconds to 15-second, more meme, purely user-generated content. Headquartered in the Silicon Valley, we've raised $40 million for our Series A and have 6 offices globally across so many different continents. So what really differentiates us, I think there are 3 layers to it. First of all, we have this unique globally patented short video format called Review. What it does is it actually bridges the vertical casual content to more professional horizontal content. So you can see from the GIF here, what it does is a lot of the videos, especially professional videos, are horizontal. With this technology on our mobile app, we are able to bridge, the more vertical and common user behavior to horizontal format. Second, like I touched upon a little bit before, we target audience 18 to 34. And what we call Firework content are lifestyle, infotainment, 30-second premium storytelling. So you can see from our website here, we've also created an extensive what we call Firework network. Realize that a lot of these different apps, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they're all walled gardens, taking the traffic away from the open web websites. That's why for Firework, we've decided to build a network that extends outside of the app. So we aim to be the largest open web short video network out there. And what it does is we're able to bring our videos to different websites. Professional production houses also join us to be able to syndicate their video content across the open web. Our partners have ranged from bloggers all the way to news websites and professional websites. So this is a traditional WordPress blogger. Most of her content is text and image based. What Firework is able to do is we use our algorithm and technology to match our categories of lifestyle and inspirational content to her website content, so that it looks like she has a YouTube story, Instagram story on her own website that autoplays. This automatically attracts a lot of attention from her visitors, and if people click into it, they can start browsing the videos. We really understand how important it is to make this a native mobile experience. So if you click into the same videos, it opens up a full screen, creates a close to native app experience on the web page. And throughout the whole time, the URL stays on the publisher end. And for all these publishers, we are currently working with brands so that in the future, after every 3 organic Firework videos, we can have a branded video and we will do revenue share on the brand sponsorship. Like I said before, besides living on the website, Firework videos also live on mobile device and also smart TV. And this is just some of the case studies and numbers to show how we're able to help our publishers engage their audience and improve on their traffic, and thus increasing the value of the website and indirectly contributing to the increase of revenue. We believe that short videos are not just a form of entertainment, but it's really a format that we can bring to every single corner of the internet. So it should not just live within a mobile app, but also on to the website. And it is a format for both content to be more engaging, more dynamic, and also for brands to be able to tell the better stories about their products and their brand values.
Thanks so much, Hannah. Very interesting platform. I've actually had the chance to look through a couple of the videos, and they're very well made, very high quality. So Hannah will be around to answer any questions that you may have. So up next, we have Hero from Viral Space. Have you ever posted a photo and you thought it was incredible, but you only received 2 likes? And then you sit there kind of wondering why. So Viral Space predicts the performance of visual assets for marketing teams in bulk, aiming to increase engagement rates, reduce social media cost per click, and eliminate the guesswork that marketing teams apply to visual marketing.
Hi, we are Viral Space, and we use AI to help marketers make data-driven decisions about their ad creative. The number one factor that drives performance on digital advertising is the creative. As much as 56% of a brand's sales lift from digital advertising can be attributed to high quality creative. So it's really important to build creative thoughtfully. However, when it comes to creating that visual content, there is a lot of guesswork. Say that you're running an ad for one of our clients, Chubbies, and you've got an ad that's performing poorly. You might wonder, am I showing the right features of the product? Maybe I should change the background, video pacing, or copy. Or let's just do 100 A/B test with $1 million. With Viral Space, you don't have to ask any of those questions. Instead, you can know that you should make your text overlay appear at the beginning of the video ad, shift to indoor imagery, and increase the video pacing to lift performance right away. That's how we take marketers from guesswork to data-driven creative decisions. Now, it's important to note that these are not broad-based recommendations. For every client, we build a totally custom model based on your brand's data. We carefully stick to your brand voice and tailor our recommendations to your unique audiences. We use state-of-the-art computer vision technology, and our team has research backgrounds from Stanford and NVIDIA. So we go beyond the basic object detection models with custom features. Here's a deeper look into our product. We have features that touch every part of the creative process. For your in-flight ads, we provide live recommendations to lift your KPIs on the go. We help you understand exactly why your ads are performing the way they do. We help you provide recommendations to improve them and can even do some of the optimizations for you. We can also help you understand features to include based on your past ads and predict the performance of content before it's posted and even tell you what to fix before they launch. Since the start of Plug and Play, we've made a lot of progress. We've launched a new recommendation model and rolled out a suite of COVID-19 response materials. Today, we're announcing the launch of our marketing trends dashboard after analyzing close to 300,000 active ads and posts on Facebook and Instagram. Go to viralspace.ai/COVID to track the performance of COVID-related posts and get inspired by top ad creatives in various industries. Here's a case study of what you can do with the dashboard and our technology. One of our clients swiftly transformed their evergreen ads to adapt to the COVID-19 crisis and are seeing the return on ad spend improve dramatically. For example, this ad shifted from outdoor to indoor imagery, removed mention of vacations, added mention of urgency, and included other creative features like patterns and colors. You can see a 3x lift in return on ad spend with these changes. So our clients love what we're doing, and they're some of the most data-driven companies in the world. Agencies like Ogilvy and venture-backed brands like Chubbies and Minted are some of our clients, with many more in the pipeline as we work very selectively with brands. A bit on the team behind this. I am the CEO. I spent my career before business school in the trenches of brand social media. Apurva, our CTO, researched under Stanford's Vision Lab, and Michelle, our COO, did product design work at Ideal. Our advisors and angels lend us decades of experience from companies like Facebook, YouTube, Nike, and other Fortune 500 companies. We closed a $1.7 million round of funding 3 months ago from investors like Plug and Play, Quest Venture Partners, and Lightspeed, so we are here to stay. Today, we're also opening up a small allocation for strategic investment from the right partners. So if that sounds like you, or you'd like to see a demo of our product to discuss a pilot, feel free to reach out at hello@viralspace.ai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hero. As mentioned before, Hero will stay on the line to answer any questions that you may have. And it's a really great product with really interesting insights as to what makes a visual content successful. So up next now we have Paulo from Arena. So Arena is an audience engagement platform and customer data platform. Arena allows publishers and media companies to create and distribute engaging live content on their websites via a widget that is installed on the website. And that simultaneously collects data and insights on their customers to gain a better understanding.
Hey guys, my name is Paulo and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Arena. Hope everyone is doing well and safe at home. We are a real-time experience and data platform helping media companies to increase engagement, conversion, and monetization. So before we move forward, let me tell a little bit about our background. We started the company back in 2017 here in San Francisco Bay Area. I work with companies like Hulu, helping to scale from 0 to 10 million subscribers. And some of our investors are Redpoint Ventures, Global, Intango, and also Plug and Play Ventures. Today we have more than 2,000 customers across 120 countries, and our sweet spot are media, telecom, publishers, broadcast, and e-commerce. Companies like Fox, Rogers Telecom, and also Japan Times in Asia. The problem that we're tackling here we understand how data is becoming more fragmented because of the number of devices. The experiences are becoming more complex, and we are helping marketers and product teams to create meaningful digital experiences in real time. So we created this dashboard, this solution, which is a real-time platform to unify customers in different places, different devices, in different channels. So we can create a real-time experience, personalized, and also a unified customer experience on Arena. So some of the examples that I want to highlight here is how we work with Fox Sports. We do integrations with push notifications, analytical platforms, and also advertising like AppNexus. We increase in their average session time of the users on their mobile and website, engagement, number of page views, and also a significant increase of conversion from a visitor to become a subscriber. Questions that we answer for our customers, like when is the right time to activate those users? When is the right time to send a push notification email marketing? How can I personalize the content experience so the users every time when they come back, they can see more relevant content? And this is exactly the problem that we're tackling, from the experience, from the top of the funnel until the bottom of the funnel with our data platform. So here's an example of how the users are visiting the website. We started since they're a visitor. We don't know much information about them, but we know their interest. We know what they're up to. We know the sessions they're visiting on the mobile and website, and also understand until they become a subscriber, until they become a buyer. And remember, we only using first-party data. We're not a platform rely on cookies or other third-party, different data sets. Everything that we see here is first-party data from our customers, and we are 100% GDPR compliant for all the customers across any country. After we understand the user behavior and create a comprehensive profile, we do integrations with platforms like Salesforce, Adobe, Oracle, Shopify, Segment, Braze, and so on. So we can be part of the marketing stack where we are enriching the data, building a real-time experience, and also doing integrations with other platforms for push notifications, email marketing, ad retargeting, and personalizations, and so on. The opportunity here is that we see how we are in the perfect storm, helping media companies to unify data, real-time experience, and using AI in order to understand how and when is the right time to activate those users so we can provide a growth at scale. Our vision here is to become the white label infrastructure, just like what Google and Facebook is for consumer enterprises, where work with large corporations like telecoms and broadcasting has been one of our sweet spot where we can increase in capability, how we can reach out that audience in the right time, in the right moment. If you guys have any questions and would like to reach out and learn more about the product, please feel free to email me or just call me on the chat. I'm more than happy to answer those questions and show a live demo of the product. Hope everyone have a great day.
Thank you, Paulo. We will move on to the next startup now. So it is estimated that by 2021, people, on average person, will view up to 100 minutes of video content. So Nflux's AI infrastructure ingests huge amounts of unstructured video data and provides contextual insights. So Saeed, the CEO, who you will meet today, previously worked for the likes of NASA and EA Games, and the product has been assessed and funded by Amazon's Alexa Fund.
In this video, we cover an overview and demonstration of Nflux's contextual targeting capabilities. Contextual targeting delivers the right ad at the right time to the right audience. Publishers create thousands and thousands of hours of video, being shows, movies, and live content each year. Similarly, advertisers produce numerous ad creatives each year. In 2019, one of the largest media and broadcasting companies ran a 7,000 participant study that showed if an ad is placed right after a scene where there is a high level of contextual alignment, brand memorability, and likability, then ultimately conversion will increase significantly. The company had annotated the videos with human annotators, as currently there are no effective solutions that can extract these contextual insights from videos at scale. Nflux has now partnered up with this enterprise to automatically extract contextual insights from videos and ad assets to offer contextual targeting across their platform of 40 linear TV channels and digital online platform. There are many more publishers and advertisers interested in contextual targeting. Nflux extracts contextual insights both from video commercial and video asset libraries and calculates a resonance score based on the overlapping context. In this case, the Rambo trailer was matched with a video segment from Chicago PD. When we look at the Rambo trailer, we can see weapons, blood, and violence with a dark theme. Nflux automatically extracts such insight from both the commercial video and the video asset inventories, and based on the extracted metadata, calculate the resonance score. The higher the resonance score, the higher the relevance of the commercial to a video segment. In this case, a video segment in a Chicago PD episode has the highest resonance score. As we can see, the segment shares the same contextual theme of blood, violence, and guns. Such contextual alignment increases the ad likability and memorability for the audience, as they are already primed with the content.
All right, so that was short and sweet and very practical, but Saeed will be on the line to answer any questions via the chat box. So please, everybody, ask as many questions as you possibly can or like. You know, a lot of these videos are quite short given the time restraints, but you know, we really want to engage with you and the audience, and the startup founders also want to engage with you guys too. So please ask as many questions as you possibly can. We're going to move on now to Tonik. So Chris from Tonik will be presenting. And you know, question that I ask you is, have you ever had a teenager show you a video that they thought was absolutely hilarious and you had no idea why it was funny? Well, I have. And then I think to myself, am I outdated? Or do we just have a very different sense of humor? Or am I just not the right audience? Well, Tonik Plus intelligently remixes videos and content based on the audience consumption patterns and reconstructs the video for the right audience.
Hi, this is Chris Graham, and I am here to tell you about Tonik. So we know that video is at the core of every digital ad campaign, regardless of platform and objective. But while we can understand which videos work, we really don't know why. And so what we do is we use machine learning to break videos into their component parts, and then we can better understand how each of those parts contributes to the success of a video, be they characters, be it a particular scene. This allows us to do a lot of things, but most importantly, it allows us to create incredible data-driven content at scale. So what do advanced insights mean? Well, traditionally, we would get a video report like this one that would show us a click-through rate, it would show us a video completion rate, but it doesn't tell us what scenes are working. It doesn't even tell us relative drop-off between scenes, and it certainly doesn't tell us what characters are resonating. In contrast to that, you can see that when we give you a video report, you're going to see what scene performs best with various demographic groups, what scenes perform best overall, what characters perform best, and best of all, you're going to see this by platform. This is quite literally about 100 times what you would get from traditional measurement. So how does that work? Well, we process your video through a variety of machine learning tools that do things like labeling images and characters and celebrities. We also break the video into cuts and then into scenes, and this allows us to take the retention data that we get and map it to those objects. From there, as we analyze the data, we begin to understand whether or not we have 3 scenes that are performing really well, 3 characters that are performing really well, if we're having certain demographics that are engaging better on certain platforms. And from there, we're able to recut these assets. So one of the really neat things we do is we take that XML for the video, we turn it into an editor's decision list, or EDL, and that can be imported directly into After Effects, Premiere, you name it. So then you're going to have all of those scenes preloaded. So we could start with, say, a 2.5-minute video, as we did for Terminator. We could tell you that we want to focus on the character, such as Sarah Connor. We could give you all the scenes of Sarah Connor in a very simple to open package. And then you'd be able to map out new videos of, say, 15 to 30-second durations for promoting the original. We can also do this with things like consumer packaged goods and financial services and autos, all the way down to what color of car people are responding to on a platform like Facebook. The result, typically 30 to 50% higher view-through rates, more than double the click-through rate. So in action, you can see this is for a specific video for Terminator. We're able to say what scenes are performing best. We're able to say that in this case for a very specific audience. So what did we do? We recut that to specific aspect ratios for specific platforms. We saw a 4x click-through rate, an overall cost per click that was about 100% better than what we had seen previously. Our remixes comprised about 65% of top performing creative, and overall we added about 40% revenue from marketing activities relative to what would have been expected without Tonik. So our pricing typically starts at around $15,000 a month. We can also work on a project basis. We work with a variety of clients, including Apple, several major film studios, GM. And in terms of our market, we believe that our share of market will be about 13 million realized by 2021. Segment addressable includes additional verticals that we're not necessarily working as much in today, but overall we see ourselves as a video intelligence company. Video marketing worldwide is 35 billion and growing very, very rapidly, particularly now in the era of post-COVID media consumption. We feel pretty strongly that video intelligence is going to be its own category, and we believe that that market could easily top $10 billion total addressable. Please get in touch with myself if you would like to learn more. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. So yeah, really interesting to be able to see content that is actually catered to you based on the scenes that you like to watch. So great startup. And we're now moving on to the next startup, which is Synapbox. So Synapbox helps brands and creators to validate and improve the impact of their content by testing video images with targeted audiences and finding which elements and messages generate the best ROI.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ben Shea, co-founder at Synapbox, and we are an AI-powered content testing company. At Synapbox, we're helping our clients today to get feedback on their customer touchpoints to really ensure whatever they're pushing out to the market will resonate with their target audience. So what we've actually done at Synapbox is developed a video and image testing platform to maximize ROI on your ad spending and content creation. And we do this by using a new and proprietary type of survey we created that remotely collects qualitative and quantitative consumer feedback. And really how this came to play was when we really thought about consumer feedback, we asked, why limit ourselves to only the keyboard when everyone has a personal device with a camera in it? So really now what we've done is using the participant's own device, we can remotely collect biometric and rational feedback on any piece of digital content. So through the webcam, we're collecting their reaction using eye tracking, emotional recognition, which is contextualized by what's happening on the screen, which we've automated using visual computing and object labeling. Then through the keyboard, we use surveys to collect and track traditional metrics and KPIs. And really with these different data points, which we have collected at speed and scale, has provided a new layer of insights never seen before in the industry of market research. And this is essentially how it works. Creating a study is a piece of cake. Upload the content, create a survey on our platform. What this does is it gives you a URL link that you can distribute through our network of panels, accessing over 60 million participants worldwide, or you may go through your own personal panel that you've already set up to collect data organically. Once the study is launched, you'll receive your data and insights in as quick as 48 hours. And ultimately, you no longer have to rely on surveys alone. Now you can add biometrics, content labeling, and really run a study anywhere in the world. We then use machine learning and AI to turn that data into dollars, real dollars, by giving you actionable insights that will move the needle on your business goals and KPIs. And an example of this is, would you rather have a survey alone? Or would you rather have the answers from a survey alone? Or would you also like to know how your target audience reacted towards your multi-million-dollar ad campaign? And this is where we're applying it to. There's three main areas our technology is used, whether it's advertising, doing both digital and traditional media. We also look at entertainment, looking a lot at product and brand placements in a lot of paid content. We also test a lot of pilots and trailers, and also in retail, mostly packaging and label design, which has been blowing up a lot recently since COVID, but easier to explain with examples. So here are a few of the use cases. Advertising is a huge one, really testing. In this particular case, we're testing the best YouTube ads to understand what resonates with millennials. Anything over 40 seconds was a big insight that basically they turn off pretty quickly after that. Testing storyboards is another big one, really in the early stages of the creative process, to make sure that the message is on point before you pour in those production dollars. This was a particular piece we ran with Uber. We also do TV pilot testing. So this particular case, it was the pilots and trailers with Warner Media to see what drives better viewer intent and also higher branding potential. And of course, within these shows as well, we're looking at a lot of product placement testing. This particular one was with Coke to see if anyone noticed their brand and products on a very popular show on Netflix. And as previously mentioned, we do a lot of package testing as well, which has been a huge category these days. Pretty straightforward, essentially trying to figure out what your customer likes, and they will buy from you and not your competitors. Really test and make sure to see what resonates so your products will fly off the shelf. To really round up here, we are ultimately looking to bring three things to your organization. Agility, a really big one. We want you to enable you to test anywhere, anytime on your schedule with who you want. Different audiences give different results. Ultimately, we're gonna provide a lot of depth for your data. you know already what works. You can count the likes, you can count the clicks, but now you can also figure out why something works. Really add our data sets and our insights to your performance metrics to see that entire incomplete picture. And on top of that, predictability, really collect this new layer of granular insights and data to really help you decide the future of your company. Here are at the bottom are also some of the happy clients that we're working with today. And we hope that you can join us in the next generation of consumer intelligence. Thank you very much for your time. I'm looking forward to speaking to you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. This would have been a great tool for me to use to test my jokes for this event. So up next, we have Edgar from Fixel. We recently partnered with Fixel to do a virtual webinar event. So you may remember him from that. So 42% of marketers don't segment, which is a pretty interesting statistic, and only 4% segment with multiple data types. So Fixel empowers marketers with AI-based audience segmentation.
Hi everyone, and greeting from Israel. My name is Edgar Spivak, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fixel. Today, I'm going to tell you how our platform enables brands to easily identify the waste in their media investment. Fixel is an AI-based platform that identifies the true purchase potential of each one of your website visitors. The Fixel platform enables brands to easily analyze their traffic, make faster media decisions, and to build smart audiences. Let's start with the problem. Most of the marketers make strategic decisions based on the visitors from the bottom of the conversion funnel. But in order to scale online results, marketers must understand the visitors' activity from the top of the funnel. They must quickly evaluate if their campaigns are deriving qualified visitors into the site. If they're not, this business is simply wasted their ad dollars. Fixel quickly predicts the conversion probability of the site visitors from the top of the funnel. Using these insights, our clients are able to break the statistical significance barrier and make the right media decision up to 5 times faster than today's best practices. Fixel is a platform-agnostic solution that's able to connect to every ad or analytics platform. Brands leverage Fixel insight both on macro and micro levels. For example, advertisers normally need 3 to 4 weeks to make informed decisions about the impact of keywords in campaign. Fixel's predictive AI engine breaks the statistical significance barrier and identifies the conversion potential for each keyword in just 1 week. Obviously, these insights impact directly on your ad spend. We reveal the quality of each keyword or campaign early, before ad spend and efforts are wasted evaluating results. In this example, Fixel was able to break the statistical significance barrier by delivering more data and making the same media decision in less than half the time and the budget. Our clients don't just gather the data, they also apply Fixel insights into retargeting and lookalike campaign. For example, AutoTrader used Fixel to remove the waste from their retargeting campaign. They doubled their conversion rate and also cut their lead cost by 51%. AppsFlyer used Fixel to reduce the customer acquisition cost from Facebook lookalikes by 49%. Fixel is a privacy by design platform that uses only first-party data and complies with the latest privacy regulations. What we have achieved since we joined the Plug and Play Media and Ad program, we led a COVID-19 survival webinar for the Plug and Play ecosystem. We're already in deal flow with 2 of the Plug and Play partners. Fixel can help your brand to easily identify the waste and to break the significance statistical barrier. If you're interested in talking to us, just sign interested in the pool or reach me out directly. Looking forward to meeting you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eka, for the awesome presentation. I really felt like a motivational talk. I'm feeling great now. So thanks for that. So up next we have iCandy Lab. As Wesley mentioned, AR is kind of here to stay. It's going to be adopted at an increasing, quick pace. And so we've actually got a relevant company here. iCandy Labs has developed an AR solution using moving images for market purposes to deploy interactive shopping experiences.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of iCandy Lab. And we make any video transactable. So we've been around for roughly 3.5 years. Before this, I spent almost a decade in digital advertisement and media. So I was consulting small and medium-sized businesses on how to seize new opportunities through digitalization. Sasha, my CTO, before this, he built a video framework, which he successfully then sold to a German media company. We have raised $1.5 million to date, including investments from LG Technology Ventures, Comcast, and the Band of Angel. We have a great advisory board with experts from the AR and spatial computing world, as well as from the telco world. We have already worked with companies from all over the globe, whether it's media companies like Viacom and NBC Universal, or telco carriers from Asia like SoftBank and LG U+, where we help them to make their video content interactive and transactable. This is an example for an implementation that we have done in 2019, last year, during the holiday season with Adidas. It enabled interactive storytelling at the point of sales for their sustainability line, where through an augmented layer, you were able to dive into the ocean and interact with this whale and tell and learn more about the story about their sustainability product line. And besides creating a lot of awareness for the brand, we have achieved huge media coverage. So the use case was actually featured in international magazines and websites, reaching more than 600 million active users with this activation. So besides this, end of last year, we have launched with LG U+, telco carrier from South Korea. It enables interactive home shopping, where you are able to shop straight from the screen. So enabling a frictionless commerce without calling in, but by providing an interactive and immersive product experience where you can take a detailed look or even place the product in your living room, and then eventually use the red button to the left to purchase the item straight away. So soft launch in November last year with 2 home shopping channels. Early success enabled them to bring on a 3rd home shopping channel and a 4th one following soon. In April, we have accomplished a 5.8% conversion rate, which is unprecedented in this case, where 5.8% of the viewers who also engaged in the app in the end purchased an item through that. So we have then taken these lessons learned and applied it in other areas, where we have then developed the LensAd product, which is a self-service platform for transactable video. So you can make any video transactable. And in this case, what that means is it's a web-based solution. You just point your phone towards any video content. In this case, the Adidas commercial, it will detect it. It will analyze it and know which product is being shown, and then allow an immersive product experience where you have a 3D model that you can also interact with, take a detailed look at, and in the end, of course, also enabling a direct transaction. So from awareness to transaction within a couple of seconds. So this solution is applicable for everywhere where video is playing a major role. So whether that's in retail for touchless commerce or storytelling, in broadcast where it allows user engagement to monetize advertisement and create embedded commerce with the content that is being shown, or for streaming platforms where this enables new advertising products to increase the average revenue per user. If you're interested in learning more about our solution, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Robin. Perhaps the next event that we do, we can make interactive little characters of each one of us for the audience to interact with. So please remember to ask questions and feel free to vote and interact with our panelists. So moving on now to Axle.ai, we have Sam here. Axle makes it really easy for content creators to automatically transcribe, search, and manage their media files.
Hi, I'm Sam Bogosh, CEO of Axle.ai, and we make it radically simple for media teams to search and manage their video content remotely.
Cut! You finish your video shoot, everybody thinks you're done. Wrong mundo. You've just started jumping through hoops. Good luck finding that great reaction shot. Take 57, or was it 63? Hey, you'll figure it out. Axle.ai helps your whole video team work smoothly from anywhere. It makes proxies, transcribes with AI, even does tagging. Find your best stuff from the comfort of your browser. Kinda like your own personal media cloud. Run free, little 4K video, run free. Make your video searchable and work with it from anywhere. Axle.ai.
So it turns out that teams across a wide array of industries need this kind of software. I'll be talking a little bit more about market size later, but it's a very diverse group and they're all doing the same job, just in different contexts. This is what the software looks like. There's a browser interface. You can search just like you'd expect. You can zoom down and see the content that interests you. You can scrub around in it, tag it. These are low-res previews, and basically the AI engines can generate automatic annotations, descriptions of who was in the frame, and also transcripts of what they said. So across the board, it's making the video searchable through that browser interface. We have over 600 customers worldwide, including some really high-profile names, as you see here. We're very excited about some of the opportunities to expand these customers and also bring on new ones in the coming year. We're also announcing today, May 4th, a strategic relationship with Dropbox. They've just named us one of their key partners, a very select group in the media and entertainment space. So the underlying problem is that video editing is a lot like groping around in a cave, and the tools for doing it are super primitive. A lot of times it's just sneakernet and hard drives. Yet, the number of teams doing this type of work is exploding. There are about 300,000 teams worldwide today, and that number is expected to roughly double by 2024. So we enable this kind of new distributed work, and of course it was very compelling even before COVID, but because of COVID, we've been able to put out success stories with our customers, like American Public Television. They were able to transition to completely remote work in a matter of days. The overall market is expected to be about $16 billion for storage for video in 2024, and roughly double that for the cameras feeding into that storage. So a software layer that would manage this is obviously a very big opportunity. This is, again, a kind of overview of the UI to give you a feel for it. It's designed to be very straightforward for anybody that's used something like Dropbox or Google Drive. It's built with about 60 person-years of technology in it. The UI is kind of the main attraction, but we also support AI modules, both developed in-house and externally. We have a workflow tool called Connector, and the kind of special sauce underneath it is that we allow people to work without changing their existing formats or workflows. They don't have to upload stuff. It catalogs their media in place and provides it into that user interface. So Connector is this back-end tool. It's been very helpful in our larger accounts like Apple, Telefonica, and Mediaset. And then a Scribe, which is the basis for the Dropbox relationship, is a scaled-down version of the product that's freemium with a charge of under $2 per hour for transcription. This is our management team. We have 18 full-time people worldwide. At Avid, where I was product manager for 5 years, and we tripled that business during the time I was there. I think this is a much bigger opportunity. We did 850,000 plus in revenues last year with very small funding. We're very capital efficient, so we've only raised under $400,000 externally to date. And today we're raising $1 million seed round at a $7 million cap. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm Sam with Axle.ai.
Thank you, Sam, and congratulations on the partnership with Dropbox. It's great to hear such great news from our startups. So please feel free once again to ask as many questions as you like. Sam will be on the line. Up next, we have Michael from Inkit. The Inkit platform makes offline touchpoints between companies and their customers easy across different mediums like letters, postcards, and more.
Hi, I'm Michael McCarthy, and I'm the CEO at Inkit. Today, I'm going to start out by providing just a quick overview on Inkit, our capabilities, and where we can help businesses save money on costs. Really high level, direct mail is over a $50+ billion industry today that is primarily done through email or FTP. What that means is businesses in the insurance, healthcare, and banking sectors many times are sending their files through either email or FTP, which is a completely manual process, to their third-party vendors to have those items fulfilled. That process is slow. There's no tracking. There's no audit log, and many times it's batched. And it's a huge, huge time suck from both an operations side. And as you might imagine with the COVID-19 crisis, many times these critical customer communications aren't being sent out because there just simply aren't people there to do the manual work. So what we've done at Inkit is we've created a direct mail automation platform where we've built an API that allows companies to connect their different apps and tools and send out physical mailings for things like critical customer communications. Those items might be things like disclaimer packets, bills, statements, invoices, and even things like collections. And our product offers a complete, simple, easy to use API that has end-to-end audit trails as well as tracking so that every single document or item that is mailed out to that client, we can track that end-to-end from start to finish. Some of the features that we have inside of our product include the ability to actually look at those thumbnails of the files and see the actual document that was sent out to the end user. This is super important from a compliance perspective, as banks and insurers want to know the exact documents that are being sent out. What we've seen from the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis is that our product can cut costs across the board for banks and insurers by over 90%. So how we do this is our API can be installed directly into their core processing system, whether that's an Epic or a Fiserv or an FIS, or even a Salesforce for that matter. And based on the action or the event, we can now fulfill anything from a statement to even a collection notice, all on a one-to-one level, which is bypassing the humans that were many times in the middle of this process. So we've seen so far over 90% cost savings from our existing clients, helping them do these manual back office operations in an automated fashion. How we price is super straightforward. We have a monthly or an annual price for the platform. This is all tiered based on the number of events. And just an example could be something like, let's say a company wanted to send out 250,000 mailers a year. We'd have just a flat contract value of $30,000. And then each additional piece is just priced at cost. So some of you might be wondering, isn't offline and things like direct mail dead? And what we found is that it still is a very, very highly prevalent channel. So the average person gets around 107 emails a day, over 63 plus display ads. However, they only receive approximately 2 pieces of direct mail in their mailbox. So what we know is that this is still a very, very good channel for reaching people from a marketing aspect, as well as there's also many times critical customer communications, things like adverse action notices, et cetera. And many times these critical communications can be found in the banking and insurance sector. And our tooling helps automate this whole process start to finish. Inkit is a fast-growing startup. We have over 50 plus customers, and we include best-in-class enterprises in both the banking CPG and insurance verticals, as well as transportation. This is just a representative, some logos of clients that we have currently today. And any additional questions, just feel free to reach out to me. My email is listed below, and I'd be happy to connect with companies that are looking to save money and cut costs during the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm definitely one of those customers who read every single one of my physical mails and ignore every single one of my newsletters in my email. So I'm definitely one of those target audiences. So thank you for that. And please stay on the line to answer any questions people may have. Up next, we have Katya from Setka. So for those who can't code and have no design experience, who still want to create beautiful websites, Setka allows you to do just that.
Hey there, my name is Kate, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Setka. I'm sure you would all agree that good quality digital content is no longer a nice to have, it's a must have. Two trends are shaping content marketing today. First is that remote work is the new normal, and collaboration remains #1 challenge for remote and distributed teams. So we have to learn to collaborate better while developing digital content. Second is that content marketing budgets are growing. Marketers are switching their offline content into digital. And even before the COVID, content marketing budgets were expected to grow, both in B2B and in B2C. And the question is, are those budgets well spent? And how do you win this competition? Actually, getting someone to click that paid or organic link is just the first step. The real challenge is how do you convert your audience with a great content experience. There are multiple studies in various fields that prove that there is a direct link between content experience design and content performance. For example, did you know that it takes less than just 1 second for a person to take an initial judgment of your content? Better content experience delivers better business results. And this is why we at Setka are on a mission to help marketers improve their content ROI. Our team has more than 11 years of domain experience. Before starting up Setka, we've launched a successful digital publishing company. We've been also developing branded content campaigns for thousands of companies, and we won over 65 international advertising awards, including Cannes Lions and Webby. By the way, I'm excited to share that 2 Setka customers this year were nominated for the Webby Awards for their outstanding branded publications. Thanks to our journey, we've realized that to solve content experience design at scale for distributed teams, we have to provide a smart platform that would combine 3 essential layers. First is a smart, no-code content design tool for distributed work. As you can see, it's what you see is what you get experience. You don't have to be a designer to change the layout, to create branded reusable components, to create beautiful, engaging content. The sky is your limit. Now, what you don't see are 2 other elements. A well-structured content data model, providing for flexible output formats, and a framework of content design components, fully customizable and based on the web best practices, and also decoupled from the backend. This is what helped us to build partnerships with all these amazing companies. Setka seamlessly integrates into any content management system, cloud, proprietary, open source, you name it. Our partners agree that Setka delivers great features. It works at scale, and that is great for remote work as well. Semantics and position of content experience design components fuels attention silency prediction and also content design personalization. Google endorsed our technology on multiple occasions in connection to the AMP project. We have an integration with Microsoft SharePoint, and thanks to Plug and Play program, we've recently been accepted to the Microsoft for Startups. These companies out there are among thousands of our customers, and our customers agree that Setka enabled their teams to elevate their content experience design and also to drive key metrics like decreasing bounce rates, increasing session durations, driving conversions, which all led to a better ROI. Since joining Plug and Play, we've prepared and launched several pilot projects with program corporate partners. And I really hope that we will launch more pilots in the upcoming weeks. Setka pilots are easy and fast. It's just plug and play within your current content management system. Feel free to reach out to me for a complimentary content experience scorecard and a tailored prototype designed for your brand. Thank you.
Plug and play. So feel free to stay on the line once again to answer any questions. So last but not those on-site experiential marketing experiences.
Hello, thank you for your time. I'm Eric Navarrete, one of the co-founders and the chief marketing officer of Arwall. We're a spatial imaging technology company specializing in large-scale AR/XR solutions for film, TV, and marketing. So, what exactly does this mean? This is our interactive platform running here. It can run completely unmanned. It recognizes users when they approach the screen, locks onto their point of view, and renders an image specifically to the user's eye line, meaning the user gets accurate depth and parallax. We're able to create experiences where the system recognizes movement, gestures, and facial reactions and responds accordingly. This can be used for retail, marketing, gaming, experientials, and more. Effectively, we're offering brands the opportunity to provide rich, immersive XR/AR experiences to fans and users in a way that is quick to deploy, easy to maintain, and most importantly, is safe and hygienic in today's COVID-19 world. It requires no headset, no goggles, and no wearables, no screens to touch, no controllers to wipe down between sessions. We call our platform Arwall Interactive. Our system is ideal for places such as theater lobbies, where you might want users to engage with an upcoming release, or a mall or retail location, where you want users to access a point-of-sale system or have a branded experience. Our system is scalable and can accommodate any space. So these are two of our most recent clients. We were able to create an interactive digital backdrop for HBO's Watchmen premiere. All leading cast and showrunners were shot in less than 50 minutes, and the video clips that were captured were then shared on social media, with each one receiving 10,000 plus impressions when published. On the right, you can see our first ever Arwall interactive kiosk out in the wild. This ran for 3 months at M&M's World Las Vegas. Guests visiting the store could play an interactive minigame and then download their photo using a unique QR code. We had over 17,000 game sessions logged with one unit during that 12-week time frame. As you can see, wildly different goals and deployments, but both running off of our technology. For Arwall Interactive, we're offering 2 standardized form factors, seen here, as well as custom installations for permanent activations. The freestanding kiosk is ideal for locations that want to offer an interactive experience to guests while maintaining a smaller footprint. The immersive pods are ideal for festivals, corporate events, pop-ups, and the like. Now, I wanted to take a moment to talk in some more depth about how our technology applies to COVID-19 and future pandemics. Our cameras include IR sensors that can detect temperature, heart rate, and other wellness indicators to predict fever. Our system's onboard mics can identify characteristics like dry coughing or heavy breathing associated with the illness. And all Arwall interactive kiosks, immersive pods, and video walls are completely hygienic, touch-free, self-service, and safe to operate in public spaces. And the system can connect to automatically notify a responsible body or notify the user if it detects they might potentially be ill. For highly trafficked spaces, going touch-free is no longer a nice to have, but is likely going to be a mandate in the future. We would like to be your brand's partner during this transition from current to post-pandemic life. Here are some more brands and projects that we've worked on. I'm hoping to have a chance to work with some of you soon. Here's the team and some more info about all of us. All of the founders have a background in either film, TV, visual effects, or interactive gaming, and we have a combined total of more than 70 years experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And this is a great example of startups responding quickly to the pandemic and offering solutions to help. Very much appreciated, and we hope to be able to help out and introduce you to the right people who can take advantage of your solutions. So that's it for the startups. And these were some amazing startups. So I'd like to thank all the startups that presented today and participated in our Media and Ad program. I'd like now to introduce my colleague Karis to present the corporate award.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm Karis, and I'm the account manager here at Plug and Play for Media and Advertising program. And I'm very, very excited to announce Corporate Partner Award winner. A Corporate Partner Award is given to recognize a partner who has engaged with our batch community or achieved special results. For Media and Advertising Batch 1 Corporate Partner Award goes to Intango Ventures. Intango Ventures has been very engaged with our batch startup community and went above and beyond in not only participating in, but also helping us to promote our internal events, and also, of course, achieved great results. Iran, Managing Director at Intango Ventures, joined us from Israel. Iran, would you like to say a few words about your experience working with Plug and Play?
Sure, Carissa, thank you very much for having me. And hello to everyone from Israel. So we're very, very excited to be getting this award, and thank you for that. A few words about Intango and our partnership with Plug and Play. So Intango is a technology-driven company in the space of digital marketing. We've been around since 2008. Headquartered in Tel Aviv with offices in the US. And we started our venture arm about 3 years ago, investing in Israel, but also looking to invest in Silicon Valley. And we partnered with Plug and Play, which we found to be a great partner and a source for innovation. We did 2 co-investments with Plug and Play to date. And also, which were we invested in Arena and in Bestpos. We've also invested in another batch 1 company, Fixel. So we're super excited with our partnership with Plug and Play, and looking forward to continuous work and success. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karis and Iran. Congratulations, and thank you so much for being engaged and all the value that you bring to both the team and to our startups. So thank you again.
Thank you.
So finally, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Saeed, from some closing remarks and to wrap up the day.
I hope you have enjoyed your day. Actually about 40 days ago, when we had this shelter in place mandate, we delayed a few events, but then we decided to put everything online, virtual, and to much of our surprise, we have had incredible results. This event today, the expo, and which is part of our 3-day summit, is actually the first expo we are doing fully online in US. But we did the same thing in Japan as well as in Singapore. And the best part of this online expo is we can open it up to much bigger audience. I believe we had close to 500 people with us today. And for first expo of media and advertising at graduation, this is a great result. Thank you for joining this innovation platform, and we hope to build an incredible platform together with every one of you and help our entrepreneurs realize their dreams. Perhaps there is another Google or Facebook that may change the world of advertising. Let's find those companies together. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, once again, for joining, for submitting all the questions, and really being engaged. We hope this event was enjoyable and that this will facilitate some meaningful relationships afterwards. So we'll be making the introductions post-event, and everybody take care, be safe, and until next time.